Hey guys, J-Man here in the Phantom Zone. Before my panel shows up, I thought I'd go live a little early just because I was sitting here, reading my book anyway. I thought I'd share with you a couple of random things. Dark Sun, which is my favorite sort of D&D setting. I think they came around in second edition. It's like a post-apocalyptic setting. I have all of these books. I think there's only like five, six, seven, 8, 9, 10, maybe like 11 books from Dark Sun. And I have the first 7, which I got when they were coming out. This is a reader copy. I actually bought a second. This is the only one where I have 2 copies of. This is the second one in the series. So you got these pretty beefed up looking guys here. They're pretty cool. That's Rikus or Rikus. I don't know how you pronounce it. It's Rikus. All right. So yeah, Dark Sun is like a sort of like Dungeons. It's Dungeons and Dragons, but set in like sort of like a post-apocalyptic future where it's like way even further in. So it's like the sun has like literally like burnt everything up. It's like a desert. These evil magicians, these evil wizards, sorcerers. They're called defilers, and they've like defiled the land. So it's like anytime you do magic, they like literally suck the life out of the surrounding area. So it literally leaves just everything dead and nothing can grow there. So that's the setting of Dark Sun. I've read these books when I was younger, when they came out. I don't even know when this came out. When did this come out? 92. This came out in 1992. Pretty cool. So I've got all these books. But yeah, so I thought I'd share that with you while I'm waiting for my. I'll probably be another like 5-10 minutes before some of my panelists show up, and we're going to talk a little bit about the fans today. And fans are very important. I did my video on the Masters of the Universe debacle, and some of you guys have already seen that and have commented. So that's cool. I finished the 5 episodes of Masters. I've seen the entire thing, and again, as I said before, the structure of it wasn't so bad. The idea that there's like the sword has been split, which is kind of a thing from the cartoons and comics anyways, and they have to go to different locations like heaven and hell to reunite the swords. Now I don't know why that couldn't be Prince Adam going with everybody else as like a mission together, and get everybody excited to go on this mission and have it be sort of like almost like a Dungeons and Dragons kind of thing, or a Conan kind of thing, which is a little bit of a loose, He-Man is sort of loosely based on those kinds of fantasy genre adventures. And why didn't they just do that and have it be like, maybe the first 5 episodes could be like Tila, Adam, Man at Arms, maybe get like Ram Man in there, Roboto, right, Moss Man, and have like a little group of guys, a team going to try to fetch the sword from heaven or from Preternia. And you could have had maybe some of the villains like Evil Lyn and Beastman and Trapjaw, Triclops, or whatever. Maybe they're going on a mission to the underworld to get that sword. So you could have had something like maybe they fight Scareglow in the end, right? The villains can fight against Scareglow, and the heroes can fight. Maybe they can fight maybe even King Grayskull or something, where he's like, no, I have to protect this or something. So I don't know. I'm just spitballing here. Like anything could have been better than kind of what we got, right? And they kept trying to say that they're doing strong female characters, but they really weren't. And it's kind of bad because Tila was a fan favorite. So this kind of ties in with what we're talking about, which is like the fans. And Tila is a fan favorite, and you've kind of ruined that character a little bit by making her such a dumbass and loser. And I saw a meme going around, and I shared it on my Twitter and Facebook, which is He-Man fought Skeletor for like 200 episodes and always beat him, and then Tila fought him in 5 episodes and he became a god. So it's like, how good is Tila? Exactly. Like, how good is she if Skeletor becomes a god and you're just like, what is this all about? But yeah, I think this entire thing about, toxic fandom and all that, it's worthy of discussion because, like, how far does it go? Like, how far do you take, this extreme fandom? And at what point in time do you kind of, lose yourself in your anger or lose yourself in your love, where you love something so much that you're blinded, you're just completely blinded to what's going on with the property that you're in love with, or you're so angry at any little change that you're going to just boycott or whatever. So I think that's going to be something that we're gonna be discussing. But I mean, like, and you guys can give your give your thoughts as well as we go. But I mean, this toxic fandom thing has been thrown around so much, especially with sort of the big three, which you got like your Star Wars, your Star Treks, and your Doctor Who's. Announcement for Doctor Who: Chris Chibnall and Jodie are done. They're gonna complete this season, and they're gonna do 3 specials to kind of conclude that. I actually have a way to fix Doctor Who. I can fix the problems. If BBC wants to hire me to as a showrunner, I can fix a lot of these problems. Maybe I'll do a video. I'm thinking of doing a video. Maybe I'll do a video tomorrow explaining how I can fix this Doctor Who crap of the Timeless Child, where they kind of rewrote history, which you never do. I mean, rewriting history is never great, in any kind of thing. Even Star Trek Enterprise, I do like that series. I think it's a fun series, but I was very much against that series coming out because it takes place before Kirk, and it's got Klingons. And what are you going to do? You're going to have the Klingons with the foreheads, and then of course they do. And then there's got to be an explanation as to why the Klingons have that way, and they kind of have a loose explanation. And you're just like, why are you doing this? Just continue it moving forward. And then we have J.J. Abrams, who I'm not a fan of at all. He comes in and then he's like, well, I'm going to redo all of this. And it's like, why are you redoing this? And then people are not liking it. And then, they're saying, oh, you're a toxic fan or whatever. It's like, look, a negative opinion doesn't mean I'm toxic. It means it's a negative opinion. Like, what do you want me to tell you? I've seen every Star Trek thing that there is. Oh no, that's a lie. I have not seen the animated series, but I own it on DVD and I'm going to watch it. Once I'm done the classic run of, I always do classic Doctor Who. I do classic Doctor Who on loop, original series, and then every day after work, I watch did I say Doctor Who? I meant Star Trek. Star Trek. I do Star Trek every night, and right now we're on Voyager. And then once I finish the classic series again, so classic series is the weekend watching. Once I finish that, I'll go to the animated series, and then we're going to go from there. So yeah, I mean, this idea that any negative comment means that you're some sort of a toxic fan, or you're like a hater and all this stuff. And it's funny because you get labeled at, like, I mean, someone like me who collects a lot of different things, I get labeled as a hater. Meanwhile, I own all the things that I'm quote unquote hating on, which I always get accused of. And my collection, usually outnumbers a lot of other people's collections. And I'm not saying that I'm, better or whatever, but I am saying that my opinion matters. It's not just, an opinion that I'm throwing out there just for the shit of throwing it out there. I'm a collector. I've been collecting for a long time. And I go to all the toy shows. I go to the comic book shows, so just throwing out, oh, you're a hater or whatever. It's just, come on. John Pertwee's my favorite too. I'm not sure if you knew that. John Pertwee's actually also my favorite. I don't know why. He was the last Doctor I had seen. Oddly enough, no, he's not the last. I'm sorry, because I watched. I started with Eccleston, sort of. I'm having some internet issues. I don't know if I'm freezing up, guys. I see Steve in the background. Let's bring Steve in here. Hey, Steve.
Hey, J-Man. Hey. I heard you're a hater.
We're just talking. I just started early just because I was already sitting here.
Okay.
So John Pertwee was my favorite, but and it was weird because I started the first Doctor Who thing I ever saw was a little bit of Tom Baker, but I didn't really know what I was watching. I like, to me, Tom Baker at that time was the Doctor. It wasn't really in my head that, oh, there's other actors who have come before. Like, I always thought the Doctor was a guy with like the long scarf, and I thought that look itself was the Doctor.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Like, other actors played him, but they always looked like that with the scarf and all that. I didn't like, it was like Batman's costume. Other people have played Batman, but it's in the bat suit. So that was my impression of Doctor Who. And a mutual friend of both of ours was really heavy into Doctor Who for a while. And we're like, well, okay, you know, Doctor Who's great and all that, but it seemed very overwhelming to try to go into Doctor Who.
Yeah.
Go through the whole thing. And I think what happened is that I started watching Eccleston. So our mutual friend introduced me to Eccleston, and I started with that. So I watched everything of New Who and caught up to whatever was latest. I think it was Matt Smith, maybe season 1 or something.
Yeah, sounds right.
You know what I mean? Like, I watched all of that, and then I don't know when you came in, Steve. Did you come in around the same time or?
No. I came in shortly after you did. Like, you talked it up to me, so I started where you started, which was Eccleston, and continued onward, but also caught the old Doctors here and there where I could. You know, like, I've seen, I can say factually that I have watched at least one, not series, because that's like what they call
story. You want
one story arc for every Doctor, including watching Paul McGann's movie. So I've seen at least one thing from every single Doctor.
Yeah. So I mean, and so basically that's how I completed it all up to where I could complete it. And then what happened was that I just fell like madly in love. My wife and I both madly in love with Doctor Who. Mm-hmm. So then at that point, I thought, let me put my money where my love is, which is what I always do. I always back up my love with money, which is to say I then purchased every single DVD. At that time, it's DVD. Now we've upgraded them to Blu-ray. I now have everything on Blu-ray that's available for Blu-ray. So 9th Doctor and on, all Blu-ray. I upgraded the 9th Doctor stuff, the 10th Doctor stuff. And the 11th Doctor I started with Blu-ray, so that was fine. And I've gone back and bought all the classic editions as they've come out Blu-ray. Sylvester McCoy has one coming out in the next month or two that I've already pre-ordered. So, okay, so then I went back and I just went on Amazon and I thought, where can I start with Classic Who? Because it's hard to buy all this stuff. So I literally saw that from Tom Baker and on, everything was available on DVD. So I literally ordered it all. I ordered all of 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. I ordered everything, and we just went through the whole damn thing, and we're like, Doctor Who's the best. And then not only that, oh my God, TV Ontario, that's what I did see it. Yes, I remember that. And then I went back, and then by the time I had caught up to Eccleston, I noticed that the John Pertwee stuff had now all come out. And Spearhead from Space, I think, came out on Blu-ray. So I kind of like, well, let me just get that. And then I bought all the John Pertwee stuff. And then I watched all of that, and he became my favorite. But then I took on the Herculean task of trying to get everything for the first 2 Doctors. And a lot of it's missing.
It's gone. Yeah, a lot of it's gone.
I had to buy things as I could. I actually own everything that you can own properly. You can find a lot of bootleg stuff where it's just audio. I find that very difficult to watch, though I am a fan of the Big Finish audio productions for Doctor Who, which I watch those, but I just find some of that tough to watch. And even the ones where they've animated some.
Yeah.
Like, you know what I mean? Like, it's like one of the chapters is animated because they don't have that particular, it's like an episode as a chapter, sort of like. A lot of these stories were like 4, 5, 6. Some of the John Pertwees were like 7 or 8 episodes, which would be a 22-minute episode or 25-minute in Doctor Who kind of BBC times. and they would be like seven half-an-hour episodes to tell one story. Like, whoa. So trying to go through all those was really good. But yeah, trying to find the first and second stuff was like really tough. So Steve, I don't know if you had heard, yeah, I have the Peter Cushing movies. I got those. So those came out on Blu-ray just recently. So you can get them on Blu-ray if you want the Blu-ray. So they're the Dalek movies. The two Dalek movies are out on Blu-ray. I have not upgraded those to Blu-ray, but maybe I should. It's not really Doctor Who. He's literally like called like Doctor Who, like that's his name or whatever. Paul McGann did great audio. So they're all good. All the Big Finish audio adventures are really good. So yeah, all that stuff is out there. But okay, so I wanted to we can start a little bit. I don't know when Sean's gonna just show up when he shows up, probably in about 15 or 20 minutes. We didn't really have a topic for today. We were kind of back and forth on a few topics just because we didn't know, I didn't have an idea. But I figured I want, just throw it because we're still talking about, oh, Sean's right here anyways. Sean just popped in. So let's get Sean in. We'll just go right into it then. Hey, Sean. He's just on mute. He's muted. That's okay.
Okay. How the hell does that happen? Because it was unmuted, and then when you brought me in, it muted again. So
maybe I don't know. Maybe you come in muted for some reason. I don't know why.
Yeah, that's how you're set up to come in, because it just replays the same thing over and over again, like the same setting.
Yeah, it could be. Okay, so we didn't really have a topic. We kind of went back and forth on a few, and I just thought, let's just talk, because I know the He-Man thing is still fresh. The Doctor Who announcement today was that Chibnall and Jodie are now done. They're finishing off this season. They're going to do 3 specials to kind of conclude this whole thing, and then hopefully I've got a great idea of how we can fix that last episode of Doctor Who, which was abysmal. I can fix it. I can actually fix it. I'm going to make everybody wait to hear my idea. I'll do a video tomorrow, hopefully, and maybe the BBC will hire me. And if they hire me, I'll get you guys in on there too, and we can all do Doctor Who together.
Thanks. Can you fire most of the BBC? Because
I'm going to fire everybody. They're all gone.
It sounds terrible. Like everything I hear coming from the BBC now is just like cringeworthy.
In regards to Doctor Who, because there's lots of British shows are actually quite good. For some reason, Doctor Who keeps getting the shaft for whatever reason. I don't know why. I guess because it's very popular and they want to push all their agenda crap through Doctor Who. But
even Luther, like the stuff I heard around Luther, was really cringeworthy. Where the head of diversity for the BBC was like, "Oh, Luther's not black enough." I don't know if you guys heard that.
Sean watched Luther.
He's not. He doesn't have enough black friends, and he's not eating Caribbean food. I actually asked a couple of black guys about this, and they were highly insulted that this person would say that. They're like, "You're insinuating that we only hang out for ourselves and only eat Caribbean food when you say stuff like that." That's really
stereotypical. Yeah. No, what I liked about Luther was it was progressive in that it was just a character, right? So it's like he and he was good and bad. There's a lot of bad to him, but it's all very intriguing. And so you have a black character in the middle of a very intriguing story and very and it's very modern, intriguing. It's the kind of thing that people want to binge and stuff. It was awesome. And so if you want to make him more black, perhaps speak more Ebonics or maybe hang out with people more and drink more or something like that, then now you're just applying stereotypes.
Yeah, exactly.
And you're not making it like an intriguing story with a black character as the lead, which I thought was progressive. So
yeah.
I think Avery Brooks said those exact words. Avery Brooks said, they're like, well, how do you feel playing the first black, captain or whatever. And he's like, well, they didn't hire me to play a black captain. They hired me to play Benjamin Sisko.
Yeah.
Right. And he's black, but that's because I'm black. And so they're, and this is where we're getting into how much do you listen to the fans not black enough for the BBC? I know. There's a great movie.
That's Idris Elba.
There's a great movie called Cotton Comes to Harlem,
Yeah.
Sean's seen it, right?
Mm-hmm.
And that's where the guy says, "Am I black enough for you?" And
Yeah.
it's that's a great movie. Great. Coffin Ed. The guy's names. The two cops are Coffin Ed Johnson and Gravedigger Jones, and they're great. It's a blaxploitation flick. It's a great movie. But I want to. Okay, so the fans. I mean, we've heard about this, toxic fandom and all this stuff. How much should the studios, filmmakers, be thinking about the fans? And when do fans, when do they love everything just to love it, and when do they hate it just to hate it? Like, where is that? Matt Smith's your hey yeah, Andrew. Yeah, Matt Smith is awesome. Hey what's going on, Skeptic? What's up?
Oh, Skeptic,
hey,
it's been a while.
With the new shades.
Yeah.
So where does it become too crazy? Because like I don't think the Snake Eyes thing's doing too well.
No, but it never was going to.
It was never going to.
I don't. Snake Eyes is a completely different kettle of fish. I don't even know how that got greenlit. Who in hell knows what a Snake Eyes is? Like, Jesus Christ! And they haven't
they're rolling two ones.
They haven't been, but they haven't been keeping the lights on for that franchise for like over a decade now. So why did they expect to come out hot with like a big blockbuster movie and pour like $100 million into it and expect a success? It's a Snake Eyes movie. That's an obscure character. I don't know if you know that. If you're immersed in this stuff all the time, like I know enough to know. Like, I read G.I. Joe all the time, but I know enough to know that, like, no one knows what Snake Eyes is. Right. So why would you think that this is going to be a hit? That's a weird one to me. It's Hasbro not understanding. They're not reading the room. It's like, you didn't build the G.I. Joe franchise for the past 20 years. So why would you think that a Snake Eyes movie would be a success?
Well, I mean, it's the same.
And it's not even really. Snake Eyes is a ninja, and he's the most popular character in G.I. Joe, but it's not inherently G.I. Joe. Right. Yeah.
They greenlit Wall Street too. They greenlit Gem and the Holograms. Like, there's some really odd decision making in Hollywood.
Yeah.
And I don't feel this is. I feel this has been going on for years, right? It's just that we were never aware of it as much as we are now because of the internet. I feel like a lot of weird things come out now that we're now made aware of. I don't think back in the day we would have been made aware of. But I feel like there's two frames of thought in concerning fandom these days. So I listen to some channels here and there, and it's odd to me because these are the haters that you were talking about, J-Man, and it's actually the same thing, the same criticisms you hear in non-fandom related things like politics and stuff like that, like or something like that. Like, there's this whole culture that is just fighting amongst each other about everything. It doesn't even have to do with this. Like, the battleground is pop culture, but it's across everything. Where it's the anti-woke, SJW group against the pro SJW. Like, it's almost like a social political argument.
Yeah.
I literally have no idea. Like, I'm with Sean. I was baffled that Snake Eyes came out. And then there's like the true fandom, which I find that there's a lot of poser fans now. Like, they're like, I'm a fan of, whatever. And then they just start going off on the same. Like, if you actually listen to the so-called fans who hate everything nowadays, they don't actually talk about the material. They just say woke, snowflake, SJW, and just recycle it over and over again. Like, there's no actual points.
Yeah.
Right.
But as far as the fandom, like, you obviously, I mean, that's your target audience. If you don't make them happy, your actual target audience is it's like your focus group, right? If you're writing a book for senior citizens, you're not going to release that book to like 35-year-olds to get their opinion. It wasn't written for them, right? Mm-hmm. And it seems that the problem with movies nowadays is they try and be too many things to too many people, not understanding that there's a demographic out there, no matter what you do, they won't care. They won't care. Like they don't give a damn. And that's probably most of the normies, right? I think that's what you call J-Man, the normies.
I stole that from
yeah, it's from other
other things. Yeah,
points.
Just because I have no other term for. I don't have any other term for it. And I heard that term. I thought I'd just steal that.
They used to be called normals, which I thought was condescending, but
right.
Stevie made a point last time about you please the fans to then get other people into the thing.
Yes, that was a great point.
Yeah, and I was thinking the other day, it's like I loved I love Golden Girls and Murder, She Wrote because my mom watched it. So and I'm sure a lot of people my age got into that because their parents were watching that stuff and it was made for them. But we got into it because we saw their enjoyment, right? So yeah.
I'm using normies. But I watched, I mean, there was the J-Man TV time and then there was the everybody else TV time.
Yeah.
And the everybody else TV time, would have been like I watched Golden Girls, I watched Family Ties, I watched all of these shows that everybody else watched. My grandfather and I would watch Dukes of Hazzard together. That was one that he could understand. And the thing is, my grandfather, his English was not the best ever. He wasn't gonna, start, doing public speaking or anything. So he understood Dukes of Hazzard. It was very simple. It's like, these are the good guys. You're on their side. Boss Hog is the bad guys, right? And then there'd always be an episode here and there where someone really scummy would come into Hazard County and it'd be like a real bastard. Like Boss Hog was a silly villain.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like you never really thought that he was going to like Roscoe wasn't going to execute the Duke boys or something. Right. You know what I'm saying? Like he could have shot them at any point, right?
I just saw the one episode just recently where I watch all the time. It's one of my favorite ones where they think that the Duke boys are dead, where they crash into a pond and then they never come back up.
Yes,
and then everyone is mega acting. It's like they're mega selling you on this idea that they died, and it's like I was tearing up knowing that they're in the next scene, like running naked through the fields. And I remember
even like Roscoe was upset, like.
Yeah, Ross was upset, but Boss Hog is like, I don't know how to tell you this to Jesse. And it's like, oh my god, man, what the hell? Like, this is epic.
So I mean, and that's the thing. So anyway, we would watch that, but it was very understandable to my grandfather, right? And again, when we went and saw the JJ Star Trek, we saw it together, but then I think Sean and his parents saw it later on, and I believe it was his mom who just said, Spock's mean. And why I don't like that. Yeah. He's being mean.
My parents saw it because my dad's a day one tracker. So
right. Okay.
And my mom was with it because I grew up with it. So and I said this before, TNG was family dinner time. It was on we'd eat the big meatloaf and watch freaking TNG. So my parents went to see it and my mom was like, I don't like that Spock. He's a mean Spock. And I was like, there you go. They didn't even present the brand. And my mom, who's like 81, couldn't recognize the brand, right?
Right. So now is your mom's a hater, right? Is
my mom a hater now?
A toxic fan, right? Like right. No. This is so we're fighting these extremes, right? We're trying to find the middle ground here, and I think some extremes are easier to point out than others. You can put some in a box. And this is someone who I admire. I'm not going to say the name of the person, but you'll know who it is if you understand this analogy. But you could take a lot of these, some of these fans. You can very easily put them in a little box, set them aside, and say, okay, these are the crazy people, right? who are like, they're just extreme and they absolutely hate everything and they have no souls, right? Like they're just automatically angry, but it's not so easy the other way, right? Yeah. Because you've got people who just love anything, like Kevin Smith, who told the fans to grow up, yet he cries over everything. Everything. He cried in WandaVision.
I don't know now if that's an act.
But I don't know. Like, why is he such a dude, okay, I gotta tell you, I don't know about the young people in the chat. Hey Jordan, what's going on, dude?
So.
What's Jordan say? Hey guys, how's it going? Steven, do you know where I could read the half like comics you told me about? Do you know what he's talking about?
Half-Life comics you told me about because it's hard to find.
I'm not sure. Let me know again what you're referring to, because I don't remember Aliens and Hazard. Yes, that is one. We need a movie about J-Man. So the thing is, it's very easy to box up certain fans where like, okay, but the people that just love anything like, oh yay, it's like, okay guys, like what are you actually loyal to? Are you loyal to, like, it's like I'm gonna throw Kevin Smith now because he's pissed me off. I'm gonna throw his name in there. It's like he's loyal to the word Star and Wars. If those two words combined appear on any product, he's like, oh, this is the greatest thing ever. And it's like, guys, you got to be somewhat critical of some things, right? Like, again, we can review things two ways, as we've always done. I've always advocated for this. And I am going to be going on Clobbering Times sometime in the near future, talking about Dread. And we have to say, like, okay, it's an IP. There's going to be fans of that IP. They're going to love it or hate it. We don't know. Then there's the regular movie, the normies, who are just going to watch this. So normies, and normies doesn't mean like I could be a normie. I'm a normie for what's like something that I'm a normie on. I don't know, like some movie franchise. Let's
Twilight.
say, sure, Twilight. I'm a normie on Twilight. Perfect example. Perfect. So I'm watching these films as a guy watching these films about teen vampires. So I didn't absolutely hate the first movie. I thought, you know what? It'd get like a 2.5, it'd get like a 5 out of 10 on my ranking scale. The first Twilight movie. I was like, it's okay, I like what's her face. She's all right. The guys are okay. It's fine. So you watch, it's a teen movie. I love teen movies. I love the Heathers. I watched the 90210, even the shitty 90210, the newer one, which I liked also. I like these teen movies. I'm a sucker for that. But then I watched Twilight 2. I'm like, well, this is complete garbage. Now it was awful. It's quite boring. And the fourth Twilight movie is absolutely abysmal. It is.
I didn't see that. I heard 3 was the best one.
3. Okay, so 3 might get like a 7 out of 10 on my. Yeah. I'm sitting here thinking, well, this ain't half bad. There's some decent fights. The girl's pretty. The girl's pretty badass, like the redhead chick.
Yeah, Bryce Dallas Howard. Yeah.
Well, it wasn't Bryce Dallas Howard in the previous.
No, it was the girl from Under the Dome.
It was the Under the Dome girl. Yeah.
Anyway, yeah.
Yeah. So part 3, I was like, I kept part 3, guys, on Blu-ray. I have part 3.
It was good. So I
think I'm gonna keep this one. Like, this one's not too shabby. And then part 4 is absolutely one of the worst film watching experiences of all time. It is so horrible. Bad. And then part 5 is not too bad.
Jesus.
Yeah.
The bait and switch was annoying, but otherwise that was
right. But so now I'm a normie. I'm a normie on Twilight because I don't know if that was the books or not. And people might tell me, you know what, man, you missed out because the books are much better. They're this and that. Or people might say, well, this did it better. Sometimes movies change things. Kubrick changes everything he touches. If Stanley Kubrick made a movie based on a book, you can pretty much be assured that book was very loosely referenced, unless it was 2001 where he and Clark like worked together a little bit on that. Let's go through. Oh, you want to see our shirts, right?
Mine's generic and not really cool.
Mine's Joker. And I bought that before I saw the movie, but I do like the movie, so I'm not a poser fan of wearing that. I'm not a poser wearing the shirt. It's fine.
Mine is not a franchise or any. I don't even know what the hell it is. It's old.
All right.
It's like, yeah.
Wait, what's it say? Your dog needs a dog.
I know. I fed him dinner, but I'm trying to finish my dinner, and I'm like, you know what? You can have some of it.
Oh, a half-dead vigilante. Was that on the Action Elite? Was that Dead Heat? No, because Dead Heat's the zombie cop or whatever, right? So anyway, I'm a normie when it comes to that. So again, like Constantine's a great example because everyone likes the Constantine movie, but I read Constantine, in the pages of Swamp Thing. So my interpretation of what Constantine looks like, it's like that ain't it, right? Like that movie's not it. So that might be a great movie, but so you review it on two ways. But then you have people who are just like insane, right? who love every single thing that comes out, no matter how dumb it is. Like, oh, we love it, we love it. It's like, where does that end? You know, like.
Yeah, and then there's the other part, which is like, I don't like some parts of Star Wars, but I still buy them. And some would say, like, well, then you're feeding the machine. They'll never learn if you don't. And the thing, like, I love Star Wars, but I don't like Resistance. And I bought the only DVDs you could get for that before they went D+. I don't like Last Jedi. I have it on Blu-ray. I don't like the sequel movies at all, and I have them. You know, so it like I can critique them. I can criticize them. I don't like some parts of Star Wars, but I love Star Wars. But at the same time, I buy the stuff. And so is that, like, I have all the Last Jedi vehicles that Hasbro released, every single one. Still in their boxes and everything. Did I feed the machine? Encourage them to make crap like Rise of Skywalker? Am I shooting myself in the foot? I mean, I like the vehicles, I like the designs of stuff, but I hate Last Jedi. So, I mean, there's that whole conundrum, right?
Mm-hmm. And where does the line get drawn on something like that? Because I also buy all that stuff. Here, one of our mutual friends is messaging me. Oh, are you watching? Because he just sent me a message on Twilight. So that's either the biggest coincidence of the world, or he's watching the stream. If you're watching, thanks for watching, dude. We appreciate it. If you're not watching, what the heck? But I buy everything. So that's a known thing. Everybody knows that.
Yeah.
So it's very difficult to start throwing hate around. When I posted my Masters Revelation thoughts, I actually had someone apologize to me in the comments, so I do appreciate that. I won't name the person. You can look at the video and watch the comments. Did you see that, Sean?
Yeah, I didn't see the apology.
Oh,
they did. They apologized because they said I was like anti-woke and SJW and all that.
Oh, right.
And I'm thinking, and then I started thinking, I'm like, I don't remember saying that.
I was like, let me watch it again. I don't think you said anything about
it. No, I didn't say that at all, because I wasn't even thinking about that as a topic, because I know Andra was race changed, but I mean, that character is a super who gives a crap character
from a mini comic
from like right. And I don't even know if I have that mini comic, because, you know, confession time, I didn't read any of those mini comics when I got them. I don't know if anyone did as a kid. Like, to me,
I read the whole thing in that big
in that big pack.
Yeah, and I don't remember her. So
right. I've got that on digital. So I don't remember this character. So perhaps shame on me. I'm not the biggest Masters guy that I thought I was. But so they race swapped her. But really, I mean, that is so who gives a crap. And I didn't think there was wokeness going on really anyways, because Tila is a character and she is the main female character. So I don't think that's too bad. I think the story sucks and they messed up the characters.
I cringe at the whole wokeness thing. I've said this before, because it's like, sometimes I feel it's too extreme. Anytime there's like a female lead or like some black dudes in something, they're like, oh guys, whoa. Can we not have some diversity? It's like, you know, and I said this before, it's like, if the God, Jewel of the Nile would be annihilated, you know?
God, yeah.
And like any blaxploitation would be like fucking eviscerated by these people. And it's like, you know, I'm okay with inserting some stuff like that here and there, and even like, you know, trying to normalize it. I'm fine with it. I think that people forget what woke is. It's when you like buttonhole something and like demean other things.
Right.
Kind of like Ghostbusters was like that. They antagonized, and that was the biggest problem. And I saw female reviewers uncomfortable with that. So that was if they just made characters of those, they weren't really characters. It's just a bunch of comedians mugging for the camera, which was what the original was in danger of being before they really chopped it up in editing. But they didn't learn those lessons for that new one, and it's just a bunch of mugging non-characters, and every so often, like a woke jab at at dudes, like, you know, let's shoot him in the balls or whatever. And it was mean spirited, just automatically. So it left a sour taste in people's mouths.
Yeah, I agree that I feel woke is overused. It's usually you can tell if something's woke because if it comes off very awkwardly, like what happened in Batwoman.
Oh dear.
Especially, like that was very badly done. Like that was like when she turned the corner and they said, "Oh, you got the suit," and she just started to spit out statistics. I'm like, no one would do that.
She doesn't know those stats anyways.
No,
that's awful.
It's just awful. You can tell if it's woke because it's awkward. It doesn't fit, and it's actually offensive to probably the people they think they're championing, right? Which happens all the time. As far as the like purchasing things for, you know, purchasing things and you're like on it, I think that's your choice. Like for me personally, I don't have the sequel trilogy because it's just bad. Like, and I don't want it on my shelf. I look at that slot and I'm like, there's 3 things there I could put as opposed to 3 things I don't like and I don't ever want to watch again. But by the same token, you're either a completist or you're not, right? Like, and if you're a completist, you're going to feel compelled to own it all. Like, you're like, I own all of Star Wars. Like, that's a thing. And that's fine. That's valid. I feel not choosing which ones to own is also valid because I do that because I'm like, I have this much space. I want to fill it with stuff I like.
Right.
And if I don't like it, I don't want to put it there. I think where you run into the territory that's really wrong is when you don't devote any money to that, but you come across like you're the biggest fan and you're like, oh, I love Masters of the Universe. And it's like, okay, what money have you put towards that? Like, what things do you own to exhibit your love? Because our homes are basically exhibits to what we love. That's how I've always looked at things, right? And if you don't love anything, your house is going to be very spare and Spartan. Like, you're just going to have furniture and a television and stuff. Like, you know what I mean? Like, even people who have paintings and stuff, like, you got to love something.
Yeah, everyone's got their thing. I got a buddy who's recreated, I told you, the virtual pinball.
Yeah.
He's got a couple of pinball things that he's recreated. He's got like a little room. He's got the neon lights. He's got a few of his favorite vinyl records framed with like a spotlight, and he's got them all like moved around, you know. And it's like, there you go. Now for movies, he's not a movie guy. He's like, I've got Netflix. That's good enough for me. I don't care.
Yeah.
Right. Well, it's like if it comes, it's like, well, what if it's not on Netflix? I tried to throw in RPM Power Rangers. I own it. Of course, I own every Power Rangers, but I tried to put it. They have Beast Morphers, the 2 new seasons, and then the Dino Fury is the next one. But like, or it's on now, I think. But RPM, I went on to Netflix. All the Power Rangers are gone except for Beast Morphers in this latest one.
Yeah.
So I'm like, oh well, thank God I own it. But I mean, again, it's like, you know, so for him, I told him like, oh, dude, like, oh, you might be wanting to watch a movie, and then it's gone. He's like, I don't care.
Yeah.
Right. Like, he's like, okay. So again, now I drew the line. Oddly enough, I own every Star Trek thing except I did not buy Discovery Season 2, and I did not buy Lower Decks. I don't know if that's even available to buy.
Yeah.
But I own everything else. So I eventually got sort of fed up, and I'll be honest. If I see Discovery Season 2 for like $10 or $20, I'll probably get it.
Yeah.
But like it's $50, you know, 50, 60 because it's a TV series Blu-ray. And I'm like, I'm not willing to dish it out for something that's just going to fill a slot to say that I own everything. So at some point in time, you will lose me. And Disney's in danger of losing me big time because they're not making things available to purchase.
Yeah.
And once you do that, I'm one of these weird guys that it's like, I need to own all the Alien movies. If I can't own Alien 3, then I'm just not going to buy any Alien movie because then I don't own them all. Yeah. I'm weird like that. Like, I want the full thing, or then I just don't even care about it. I'm like, all right, well, I don't own any of it, so I'll forget it. So that's how it's, and if they're going to continuously do that, they can friggin' do that if they want to, but they're going to lose the fans. And streaming, it's all well and good, but you know what? When you're streaming something and you're not devoting any, this is why people don't pay attention in movies now, because they haven't worked for the experience of it. Like we would have to drive to the theater, stand in line, and then you're like, oh, you want popcorn? You're like, oh crap, it's like $10 for popcorn. Well, I gotta get a drink. Oh, that's another $10.
And you pay for everything too.
You're paying for everything.
You better behave,
Right. And then you're like, okay, well now if this movie sucks, it's pretty brutal because you just spent, X dollar on the ticket, X dollar on the food, your time, energy, waiting in line. And you're like, well, this is really shitty. Streaming it at home, it's like, if you're not liking it, you're just going, like, I'm watching this, I'm like, yeah, this is shit. And I just go on my iPad, or I'll read comics while it's on and be like, yeah, I kind of watched it. And then, you could just stop watching it if you don't like it. It's like, it's not like that anymore. So people, but I don't treat movies that way. Like, I watched that trash Enola Holmes movie, and I watched the whole damn full thing, and I paid attention. I'm like, this movie sucks. So when I'm telling you it sucks, I'm telling you I paid attention. I didn't go on my phone every 5 minutes at all. Like, I don't even touch my phone. I turn it on silent and put it and face it down away from me. And that's how we watch. We take a piss break or whatever if we need to take a break in between. That's how I watch these movies. When I'm watching He-Man, even the shit He-Man that I just watched, I super paid attention to it. I didn't watch it off my phone.
Yeah.
I had dinner. I'm like, let me watch this. And even my wife's like, I thought you didn't like the first few episodes. I'm like, well, I'm going to finish it because I need to see what happens. And I need to be able to talk about it and not be someone who didn't even watch it and talk about it. Anyway. So, but people don't do that now. So everyone's like, I love this movie. Did you love it? Did you pay attention and love it? Are you the first comment I saw?
Here's the thing too. Like, I
go ahead.
I was gonna say I don't begrudge someone who doesn't buy everything or even buy stuff and then but likes the franchise, right? Well, I don't, because like that's the thing though. I think this Masters was made for people who remembered He-Man as a kid and haven't really touched it since. And so when they watch this, they get nostalgia vibes and stuff. And if that's it, then fine. It's not for me, because I wouldn't call myself a super fan, but I have been, like, I have all the hardcover Dark Horse books. I have most of the mini comics. I would like to actually complete that collection. The collectibles place I go to has a lot of them, so I might do that and get the whole stack. But like, I mean, I don't have like every He-Man thing. I do put money into it. But the thing is, like, it's weird. This show, I don't think, is made for you, J-Man, who's a big fan of it, or myself, because we're familiar with it. It's not a passing glance from our childhood that I then get nostalgia vibes by watching. It's something that I'm familiar with and I've kept up with over the years. Now, is one fan more valuable than the other? Well, I know, Steve, you brought this up, and I think it's true that, like, yes, I think it's valid that, like, you don't remember that you haven't seen it since you were a kid, so you get some pleasure out of watching a new incarnation. You're like, oh, gee, I like this now. But at the same time, is that going to plus this? Like, is it going to move this franchise forward? Probably not, because that fan, just by a definition of having not having kept up with it all these years, is not going to now buy all the merchandise that they have out for this. Like, what's the game plan here? If Mattel has like 2 waves of figures for this show,
right?
Who's buying that? If the true fans are going to buy that, not the guy who's like, I remember He-Man when I was a kid. Yeah, this was fun watching on Netflix. Are you going to pay the $30 for one figure? And no, you're not going to do that, right? So it's one of those. I think sometimes the strategy of these corporations is confused. It's like, why did Hasbro make a Snake Eyes movie? I don't even think they know. You know, it's one of those things. I don't know if we're seeing office politics come to life in written lightning. I don't know. It's just weird sometimes. I don't know what the game plan is. Piss off the fans that would buy your $30 a piece and $100 in the case of Skelegod, or whatever his name is, figures, or appeal to the people that remember He-Man when they were a kid but would never buy any of your fucking shit. I don't understand the strategy. It's weird. And I feel like corporations do things by rote now. It's like, we'll do a thing and it'll appeal to some people and we'll put out figures. Do you know why you're doing that? Do you know the synergy between the two that would enhance both of them so that you would sell figures out of this show? Do you understand what you're doing? And sometimes I don't understand if they understand that anymore.
All right, 1 second. Tell me about Frank Miller. I saw him right before I started setting the stream up. I saw something about Frank Miller. Do you know what he's talking about? Anybody? Sean?
No.
Okay, we'll get back to it. Let us know what's going on with Frank. I'm not looking for a Ghostbusters movie. We can talk about the trailer. Did you guys all see the trailer for Ghostbusters?
Trailer, yeah.
Yeah, it'll be awesome, man. I think
cool.
It'll be
so
awesome. That's the one movie I've been
waiting
waiting for. So, yeah.
It looks cool to me. I don't know the sequel trilogy. Yep, that's fine. Money better, so I agree. Something surges come by buying collectibles. Yeah, I mean, I don't think someone should go out there and buy everything, because I'm not saying that. I'm not a lifelong James Bond fan. I'm a last 10 years James Bond fan, but a pretty hardcore last 10 years James Bond fan, because I own several copies of all the movies in multiple editions. I have some of the cars. I'm gonna probably be buying every Folio Society book. Those are about $100 a piece, but they're very nice. I'm actually going to reserve those for family. I'm like the worst person to buy gifts for, because I have it. If I like something, I immediately pre-order it. So it's impossible to buy me a gift, but these folio books are not limited edition. They're always going to be there. So they're going to be my presents. I will tell my mother and my cousins, like, okay, you want to buy me a Christmas present? Buy me Thunderball. And I will literally send the link. Just click the link, and then so I'm going to use those as gifts from other people to myself. That's how brutal I am. I have to send you a link of what to buy me. That's how brutal I am. I've got all things in my cultures. Yeah. So I mean, you can, whatever you like. Your TV. Oh man.
Well, I was gonna say, my dog. Someone asked. My dog is he's a lab husky mix.
Oh, okay. Is that what they were talking about? I'm like, what is going on? I didn't know what dog we were talking about. There are ways to update. Yeah, I know. They could. Well, I mean, for He-Man, we got the 2000X series, and I said that last time. It's like, why are we pretending like that didn't happen? It's like that.
Right, but the problem is that it's funny. Between the 80s series and the 2000X series, there were 18 years where He-Man was missing on TV. And then between the 2000X series and this Kevin Smith series, it's 18 years. And I know Kevin Smith, one of the things he likes to say is, if you don't like it, wait a hot minute and another one will come. And he says that about Superman a lot. And there aren't a lot of Superman movies. They don't really make them. It's like every 10 years or so, they'll try a new one. But with He-Man, it's like, he's like, if you don't like it, they'll make it. And I know there's a kids one coming out later this year. But to be honest, it's like this has been 18 years in the waiting. So, yes, we're disappointed. It's like, listen, you killed him in the first episode. And I get that, like, you might be setting up later episodes. But the problem is, let's just say for the sake of argument, in the next 5 episodes, He-Man comes back, saves everybody, and everyone high-fives him. Okay, but the problem is that if that's the case, it doesn't fit with the story you told in the first 5 episodes. Like, you're obviously setting up Teela to be, and I don't think she's going to be a He-Man.
She'll be sorceress.
She'll be a new sorceress. They established that with that last episode where they had an old sorceress. So, like, there's always a line of sorceresses as well. Sorcerai, I don't know. But
she was in Preternia.
Yeah.
So she was like she's the first sorceress, and this one's the second sorceress. Yeah. And then there's gonna be Teela, and then Andra's gonna be the new champion. That's what I guess.
Oh yeah, Andra will be the new champion. Well, that will really piss everybody off.
You know who will pissed off? No, well, it won't even piss off me because I don't care. This thing is.
She's not going to be that. It doesn't fit the narrative, J-Man. Think about it this way. Kevin Smith is a very basic storyteller. He's not very smart, and like he says it himself on his Fat Man Beyond thing, it's like they're obviously setting up. It's going to be Teela as a maybe even a hybrid of a She-Ra type He-Man thing and sorceress, like sorceress with armor or something like that. But she'll be a new sorceress, and she'll replace sorceress and He-Man. I think that's what it's going to be. The thing is, you can't tell the stories of these past 5 episodes, and including her tests against Scareglow, and then have the show be about He-Man fights and conquers everything. That's bullshit. It's like that. Even if they did that, I wouldn't be satisfied, because that's not really the story they told. Now, if they go the other way and say, well, F He-Man, now it's Teela, I still would be like, what the hell? Like, what was all the, how is this a love letter to fans? It's like, why wouldn't He-Man have those kinds of character building moments like Teela had? Teela's been around as long as He-Man, so she would have already had character building moments. So if you're saying that, well, Teela needs them, really? Because she's been around for 100 episodes or more. So why wouldn't this be a He-Man show where He-Man discovers things about himself? It's obviously a tell that this is about Teela. And the next and I know it's funny. Kevin Smith tried to appease fans by saying in episode 7, Skeletor fights and goes, you know who, right? But it's He-Man. My thing about that is that episode 7, there are 10 episodes, so He-Man fights Skeletor, and then what happens? Because that doesn't sound like the final fight. Like either he dies or he gets like, and he goes like, you know what, Teela, you got this, and like takes off. I don't know. It's like the whole thing sounds fishy. The thing is that they've been saying it's all about He-Man, and you know, him saying it's all about He-Man reminds me of Kathleen Kennedy saying Luke Skywalker is the most important thing about this sequel trilogy, and he's not. He's a grumpy asshole, and then he leaves, and then they had to change his character completely for last I was going to say Last Skywalker, Rise of Skywalker, and then he comes back and is like, I'm the guy you wanted, but I'm dead, so I don't know, and it's not like I don't believe in this whole storytelling of you kill the guy to show what kind of a world there would be without him. And honestly, if that's what they were going for, which it sounds like what Kevin Smith is trying to say, that's not the story they told in these 5 episodes. The 5 episodes are really about what happens in Eternia when there's no magic, not what happens in Eternia when there's no He-Man. It's like Oracle's dying because there's no magic. You know, it's like all these people are starving because they used magic to grow their crops and stuff like that. Like, it's about that. Like, there's a rise of a techno cult led by Triclops of all freaking people, but beyond that, it's like it's not really about a world without He-Man. It's about a world without magic. So that's not He-Man's not even a part of that story. So
yeah, what story is he part of? None.
No, he's just like, and he's now here's the thing. So he's in Preternia, and they're like, oh, he chose to he chose to be his lesser form, but he can't turn into He-Man, right? He-Man turns into Adam turns into He-Man with the Power Sword. Power Sword is the 2 swords in one. He only has one half, and until they come with the other half. But he's always had that one half in Preternia, so he can't become He-Man. Do they know that? Or the other He-Mans are not secret identities? They're just He-Mans, right? It's like Wondar is just a He-Man,
right?
Really, he's a gimmick from a Wonder Bread thing that they turn into a character.
Yeah, I know.
And Vicor is just a He-Man. He's the old Conan figure.
Yeah,
and
he's the Conan
it's cool
figure.
To see him as a cartoon, though.
Look, again, you mentioned this. There's like cool shit like that Wondar and Vicor.
I know, but without the main character He-Man
underpinning
it all, it's kind of hollow.
Exactly. I want to see.
They have the Eternia playset. That's awesome. That's awesome. You know that's awesome.
Yeah, that's And they had the roller coaster thing going around.
Yeah.
Like, it's like Kevin Smith is so stupid. It's like, oh look, there's Hero, there's Vicor, there's Grayskull, there's Wondar. Yeah, but I want to see He-Man talking to those guys.
It's like, does He-Man fight Scareglow? No. Teela does. Huh?
Yeah, Scareglow appears and then doesn't fight He-Man. What the heck am I watching? Like, and that episode was so awful because Teela found out that her greatest fear was not realizing how awesome she is.
That was vague to me, but I rewatched it again.
Oh
yeah.
my god, that was embarrassing. I don't know how someone wrote that and didn't feel embarrassed. That was so embarrassing. Okay, let's get through some. So, Frank Miller. Okay, so Miller got canceled.
Well, yeah, no, it's bullshit because I thought it was a new thing that he said. No, it's just his past works. People are angry about it. It's like, listen, he has an opinion, whatever. It's like what, like, yeah, I get that. I can't remember which one it was. Holy Terror was Islamophobic, but he's always understood the ills of Islamophobia. Like that was part of I can't remember what it was he wrote, but like that it's in one of his stories doesn't glorify it. It just shows you how terrible it is, right? It's
yeah,
like
and
that,
there was one complaint.
There's something called context and reading comprehension. So yeah.
There was that cartoon's awesome. Sorry, Steve,
yeah, but like, and it was like as Couldn't Be Reached for Further Comment said, it was one complaint. The one thing I don't get anymore is how one complaint can, like that's it. Like one person complained.
Yeah, because then everyone retweets and tweets, and half these people don't read the thing or watch the thing they're retweeting about.
Yeah.
Or they see one little line. It's like the line of dialogue could be like, I think, no, it's like slavery is good. And then, oh my God, he said that. It's like, and then, but the real line is slavery is good. Is that what you want me to believe? You know what I mean? Right?
Yeah, it's how context.
That's how they see this. It's like, if you just say the word in some way, now my video will be taken out of context, right?
Yeah.
It's like, you can't actually say any words. If you say words and there is a word in there that'll offend you, then that's the end of it. And I saw an interview with somebody who I like. I'm not going to mention the name. And they're like, and the interviewer's like being really aggressive. And then they're like, oh, you'll make people feel uncomfortable. And like, and this person was like, well, you're making me feel uncomfortable right now, but you seem to be okay with it. It's like, it's very uncomfortable for me right now, and you're attacking me, but you seem to be totally fine with doing that and making me uncomfortable, but you're saying I'm making other people uncomfortable, but you're making me uncomfortable right now. And it's like, exactly,
Yeah, and like the problem really isn't.
Let them try to cancel Alan Moore. He'd be the best person to cancel.
Oh God, I would love to.
He doesn't care about anything. So, DC sucks and Marvel sucks, and it's like, oh, I don't care. They can't cancel me. Oh, it's like, okay.
Isn't he like a warlock? He just casts a spell on them anyway. But like the problem isn't that people complain or that people don't like this. The problem is that these corporations are giving them power by actually following through,
right,
and stopping them from getting money and doing things. Like that's the problem.
I'm not paying for anything though. I'm like the worst. I'll buy the Last Jedi toys, but I won't spend money on that.
So sorry, Scareglow. So what were they saying Scareglow was in the show?
I thought he was just I thought he was just like the Grim Reaper. I don't think.
Yeah, I thought he was just death for.
Yeah, he's death
because he can't be Skeletor's ghost because Skeletor was hidden in that staff the whole time.
Yeah, it's not Skeletor's ghost.
Yeah,
he's just a guy. But again, every single thing that you see happen in that show sucks. It's either poorly written or a bad decision, or it's disappointing because He-Man's not doing it. It's like, it's like, guys, you're finally going to see Scareglow. Oh, wicked, He-Man fights Scareglow? Well, no. It's like, oh, hey, we're going to see Stinkor, and there's going to be this big thing with Stinkor. Oh, cool, is Stinkor going to fight He-Man? No, Teal's going to hit him with one shot and kill him, and it's like, or knock him out. And it's like, oh, okay. What about, Triclops is going to have this like cult, and he's going to have all these these minions. He's going to be transforming people into like these mechanical things. Oh, that's sick. What's going to happen there? Oh, Teal's just going to make fun of him and leave. It's like, okay, this is not exciting.
Yeah.
Like Triclops, that could have been a cool angle. What'd they do with it? It's just a butt of a joke.
There's a lot of bad writing in it, and it's funny because I don't know if. So when you write a series Bible and all the characters and what they're about, and that way you have a model to go off of. so you have a baseline, so you don't go off track with strange, crazy, off character ideas. I don't know if this show has a series Bible.
I don't think so.
Because and it would have to be Kevin Smith that does it, because he's the showrunner. Maybe someone else, but like the whole thing with Tila, it just throws the whole show off completely. At the end of the first episode, where she's like, I know that your son's grieving and everything, but me, right? And it's like, and then she's still stewing about that later. And it's like, well, this is weird. Is this the character of Tila then? You know, that's the problem with the way a lot of movies are written nowadays. Like Last Jedi, for example, right? It's like, who are these characters? Let's build off those characters. But this show doesn't seem like they did that. And there's a lot, like, you know, in that Bible, they would have written something about Triclops and his rise to power with this thing, and the people that stayed on with him, like Trapjaw and all that stuff. But I don't know if they did, because it just seems like a hollow sort of thing they just insert in one of the episodes and then just abandon, right? So it's like, why is Mossman in Preternia but Orko isn't? Is there something to do with perhaps Orko died in another realm and therefore can't go to the other like a Valhalla type of realm? If Mossman is there, are there other people other than the other He-Mans and sorceresses? Because that's all you show. It's like, what's happening here? It's the Loki syndrome. It's like, we're making this Loki show, and we're going to show a whole bunch of Lokis. Well, when he goes to that junk area, and there's all sorts of different variants of Loki, why aren't there variants of Hulk and Captain America and just random people anyways? It's like, they pruned the one guy, and he wasn't a Loki. They showed that in the beginning of episode 1. Where's that dude? You know, it's like, it's that whole syndrome of you're narrow-minded and you're not thinking of the world that you're building, right? It's like, it's Preternia is like their heaven. Okay. And so all the He-Mans there. Cool. Is there anyone fucking else? Like, no. Like, where are the battle cats? Where are they?
There is, if the script wants them to in this episode.
Right.
The problem here was that they clearly said this. They clearly said, this is your reward for the services that you provided to Eternia. So if a He-Man, a wielder of the sword of He or whatever it is, if they die, they go to Preternia. Okay, so now they're in Preternia. Yeah, but Mossman's there.
Why is Mossman there?
Why is Mossman there?
Who invited that guy?
I don't know. Right? And it's like, why is the sorceress there? Because she's not a wielder.
A wielder of the sword of He or she.
And then the other thing too is that if you're in heaven and you're choosing your form, and Adam doesn't choose his He-Man form or whatever, it's like, how is one stronger than the other? Like, I don't understand. Like, they're having these games. It's like, well, but how is this happening in heaven? Are you all like, are you not as strong as the other guy? Like, this guy's strong.
Yeah, like one of the dead mechanics. It's like and when he comes back to life, like, I get, like, we're putting logic on stuff, but you would have to think about this, right?
Right.
When he comes back to life, then he comes back to life at in his clothes and everything, and then now he's like in the same age and stuff. But yeah, I didn't understand it if you could just choose your form and just choose to be He-Man when you're in Preternia, but you still have the sword. Does the sword work the same way that it does in Preternia that it does when you're alive? That, like, you hold it up and say, I have the power? And the thing is, he couldn't do that because it wasn't the actual sword. It was half the sword, right? So,
at this point in time, and this brings us back to sort of the topic, at this point in time, there's someone who's saying, oh, you're overthinking it, grow up, who cares, it's just a cartoon. It's like,
yeah, but you're forcing me into that spot because you're trying to make a smart He-Man show,
right? Yeah, like
your universe. Now that I'm questioning it with logic, you're like, whoa, it's just fantasy. Well, you can't have your cake and eat it too, man. You can't piss on my leg and tell me it's raining.
Bruce Campbell talked about that all the time. How he said actors are the first ones to say, I go through all of this craft and I'm writing with the police to be a policeman and all that. But he says the minute something goes wrong, oh, it's just make-believe, guys. Don't believe a word of it. He says that's been always the problem with
choose your lane here. Are you telling, listen, if you're going to tell me this makes sense, and the He-Man fans need to grow up and figure it out, and this is exactly what it is, and this is the story I'm telling, and it's a big character arc. Okay, but Teela still sucks. Like, I'm willing to be like, okay, you know what? Forget it. It's called Masters of the Universe. It's not called He-Man. It's about Teela. Teela's an original character. There you go. Yeah, but she still sucks, and I don't understand what I don't understand her arc, because it's a non-arc. It's like she learns that she's awesome. I'm completely stunned. It's like, well, you got named Captain of the Guard. She's obviously a very poor Captain of the Guard, because at the first sign of trouble or at the first sign of hardship, she quits. It's like she learns a hard lesson. Adam was really He-Man. And instead of saying, wow, I better walk this off and do my captain duties, she's like, I quit. Oh, okay. So you're a quitter. So the first time Captain Kirk encounters a Klingon, he's like, shit, they fired on us. Yeah, I'm done. It's like, so, and then it's like, oh, you're overthinking this or whatever. No, I'm not overthinking it. I'm watching what you're presenting. It's like Teela quit at the first negative thing that happened to her. So Steve, you didn't watch it. She becomes the new Man-at-Arms. She becomes the leader of the Royal Guard.
Yeah.
And then she finds out that He-Man was Adam, and she's upset. She's like, I quit. I'm like, seriously? That made you quit? You wouldn't survive 2 seconds in customer service land where you're answering a call. The first call I got as customer service is like, your effing internet sucks. I'm like, dude, I just started today. Today's my first day, right? Like,
I have to guess that making Teela the new focus of the He-Man show, which is ridiculous to say in itself, but like making her would make her like this. This goes back to my previous argument about let's make strong women, but they don't do strong things.
Right. They're weak.
They're weak. And if they do things, we have to make the men look worse so that they look better. But then I'm like, but then they're not awesome. You're just making terrible male characters instead of strong female characters.
All this was done in She-Ra, that Netflix She-Ra. It's 52 episodes. It lasted a bit. I like that show. I know a lot of people like are down on it for being SJW and stuff, but like it's
I didn't watch it.
I thought it was pretty cool. Like the thing was they reinvented stuff. And people are like, how come He-Man's not? Because it's a She-Ra show. I'm fine with that. And they made their own sort of lore. Like there's like first ones and stuff, and it's like that's why there's high tech all over the place. People don't know where it came from. It's from way back in the yesteryear, and there's a whole storyline that like those first ones went to, and I feel like they copied this for this show. They went to Etheria because it was a place of magic and stuff, and they went there to investigate and exploit it. And in exploiting it, they were kind of wrecking the world. And so a previous She-Ra actually put that world in another dimension to keep it safe from everyone else. And my dog's being an asshole, by the way. I don't know if you can hear me. And yeah, it was cool. I like that whole thing. There were strong men and strong women. They were all goofy, so it didn't seem like they were making the men goofy over the women. They were all sort of like jokey and funny, sort of an anime style to them. Right. Like their head would expand if they're mad or stupid shit, right? And I just like that whole thing. But there were strong women and stuff in that. And some people would say it's SJW in that I think Katra, it's implied she's a lesbian and has a crush on She-Ra. But it's sort of like it was very understandable, like she felt betrayed and everything like that. Bo has two fathers, but the thing was they were characters. So I was like, I don't know, I can't really hate this. It's like they're doing their thing. Most of it was very implied and not like there's a character called Double Trouble who could morph into other things. Now, and was that from the old show? I don't know.
No, I don't think so. But Rama One Half, which is an old anime where he's a boy in the
Ranma. Yeah. I know that. Yeah.
Yeah, Rama. It's called Rama One Half, right? Yeah. And right, and he's half times he's a girl, half the times he's a boy.
He's a boy, yeah.
And again, I think that the whole point about that She-Ra thing is that you saw the advertisement, You saw the way
what
the
it was.
Looked.
Yeah.
It looked like it was a fun, goofy thing for kids, probably for little girls. And then everyone went on with their day.
Yeah.
And nobody's angry. And some people, I did see some people say SJW. I don't buy that.
But it was honest. I think
honest.
that's it
Right?
is what it is. It's its own thing, and I was fine with that. And they were telling some fun sci-fi stories, and I was like, "This is really cool."
Right, and nobody's angry, and nobody's doing live streams on it because it's like, well, here you can't get angry if someone's showing you, even with J.J. Abrams, who said this is not your father's Star Trek. He's telling you this ain't going to be the Star Trek you want. It's rebooted. It's a new universe. Okay, and it sucks, so I hate it, but I can just ignore that. You know, the problem with the sequel trilogy is that it's part 7
of Star Wars.
And then you've got like the actors returning. The problem with the Netflix MOTU Master of the Universe is that you showed me the trailer, which looked like classic He-Man. You showed me the posters, which is He-Man on the front with everything in the back, right? It's like you're showing me you showed the figures, and they're really dicks with those first wave because it's classic He-Man, classic Skeletor, right? And you're like, and then it's like, oh, it was a bait and switch. And then Kevin Smith, when the synopsis came out, people started saying, well, this doesn't look like what we just watched. No, guys, I assure you, it's all.
That was the problem. That synopsis was fine if that's what they were gonna do, and then say we're gonna explore other characters you didn't really see much of in other media, through T-Law and her adventures in that whole universe, right? Then I would have been like. Initially, I'd be like, well, I would like a He-Man show, but if this is what you're going to do, then let me see it. And it's done. And it comes out, and it's not a blow to the solar plexus.
Right. It's still not good, though.
No, but I'm just
even on its own terms.
No,
if you watch it's not that great anyways.
Yeah.
That's the thing. It's like, if you're going to bait and switch, that switch better be the damn best. It's like, hey, guys, we're going to give you, like a great juicy burger. And then it's like, haha, we tricked you. It's really a steak. It's like, oh, okay, well, that's fine. They're like, here's a tasty burger, and then it's like, here's a pile of shit. It's like, I thought I was getting that burger. Yeah, well, you're not. I did not know District 9. Not District 9.
It's Elysium.
Yeah, Elysium. I like District 9, and I didn't mind Elysium. So there you go. But yeah, so again, if you say anything negative, you're like a hater and all that, and da-da-da-da. But the other thing is that you're allowed to not like stuff.
Yeah,
like, and
I don't understand the hater thing anyway, because it's like, oh, you're a hater of what is it? Like this movie. It's like, yes, I hate this movie. That is accurate. Is this supposed to be an insult? Because that's actually accurate. I hate this movie. I hate, like, if it's like you're a hater of American Beauty.
Well, no, but it's framing them as entitled like man children. But the problem is that what it is? My problem with that is that once again, it's been 18 years, and then this is what you give. It's like you're acting as this show was made as though there's like a 7-season He-Man show that just came out and gave you all of the traditional stories and everything. And now we're turning it on its head with this thing. And that's not what happened. It's been 18 years, and you gave us this thing where he dies twice. And I get like he might not have died in that last part, but like he's a loser, and they call him Flea Man, and they think it's funny. It's and you focus on a whole other character that I don't care about. And it's like, listen, I don't care about her or Man-at-Arms or anybody.
Man-at-Arms sucks too in this. He's like, oh, my fight's over. It is? Does that sound like Man-at-Arms to you?
Well, I mean, I guess my point is that, like, they call everyone, like, entitled man. Like, these terms now, like, hater, entitled, like, and you say it's entitled man-child.
Yeah.
But, like, you're allowed to dislike a movie. Famously, J-Man and a mutual friend of ours met a guy in university who didn't like Gladiator because there wasn't enough food. That was literally said with a straight face.
He did say that. There wasn't enough food. The depiction of food,
yeah,
it was too scarce. He goes, they were overabundance, and it was all like crazy. It's like
there should have been more feasts.
No, I know. He's telling the truth, and he goes, it should have been like more emphasized and all that. I'm thinking,
what?
Okay,
yeah,
I guess so. But like, who cares?
The point though is that you're allowed to dislike something for whatever reason you want to come up with, and I'm allowed to either agree with that or disagree with that, right? Like, that's how it works. Like, that's tolerance. Like, I don't. We live in a time of extreme intolerance, and I don't get it. Like, half the time people act outraged. Oh, you don't like this? I'm like, did you make this? Like, is your family's lives depending on this? Yeah. Like, I keep going back to this too. We're fighting over multimillionaires. Mm-hmm. Like,
right.
Oh, this, damn, what they did to Zack Snyder. Zack Snyder in the mansion over there.
Yeah, he's fine.
That's who we're, I don't get this like outrage for the privileged. Like, I don't get it at all.
And I got 2 points with something with the episode 7 thing, which is I saw this right away posted by a friend on Facebook who had liked the show, I guess. And they said, I just want to remind everybody, it's only 5 episodes. Oh, it's only 5 episodes. And then it's only 6 episodes. And then the 7th one is going to be the greatest piece of television we've ever seen in our lives. Well, first of all, no, it's not, because the first episode's crap. And if it's the same person doing all of these, I know it's not going to be good. Number 2, it's like, remember when Raiders of the Lost Ark was the 7th episode? Or Terminator was the 5th movie? Or Back to the Future was the 25th movie? Like, what do you mean it'll get good? No, you're selling me on the pilot. There's this thing called the pilot, and it's not a guy who's flying an airplane. It's where you make this program. It's 22 minutes or it's 46 minutes or whatever it is. You make the first episode. Remember in Pulp Fiction where, I do like Pulp Fiction a lot. I don't know if it's perfect, but it's pretty good. And I really like where he explains this stuff very clearly. He's like, well, there's a pilot. And then he's like, have you seen TV? And he goes, I don't have a TV. He's like, yeah, but you are aware of this invention called the television. And on this invention, people watch shows. And he's like, well, there's this thing called the pilot where they make one episode, they shop it around, and if people like it, they make more based on the strength of that one episode. So remember that? It's like, yeah, the first episode should be good. We shouldn't have to wait for episode 17 to be good.
Well, to them it was, because Kevin Smith wrote that first episode, and they shove like tons of characters in it, but they don't do anything, right?
They don't do anything.
They don't say anything, or or nothing. It's funny because I went back and watched the 90-minute pilot for the 2002, and it's awesome right off the bat. It's like right off the bat, you get the classic characters confronting Keldor, and I'm like, well, there they are, and then they all talk, they all fight, and then Skeletor comes back. He takes King Randor. What's his face? Adam goes back to the castle, and he's like, okay, make me He-Man. I'm done with all this. Like, all the characters get their moments to shine. They show what they're all about, and it's done. It's clean, good storytelling. It's not forced into trying to be something else. This is the story of He-Man, and I was like, wow, this feels like a real palate cleanser after that bullshit. Look, this show feels the same to me as Last Jedi and some of the Snyder movies, like the DC ones, in that those movies always feel forced to me. They feel like it's a lot of effort for the filmmakers. Like, how do we, it's too much thought. They overthink it. It's like, how do we do this? I don't know. It's like Luke's grumpy and it's like it seems like a lot of effort and not an effortless glide through a love of storytelling and a love of these characters. And this is what this felt like. It's like, how do we reinvent everything and not just going with what they had? And diving into the fun and adventure and character interactions that you have already. Just go with that.
Jackie Chan pointed this out in one of his interviews, which is a weird, kind of parallel here. But like, Jackie Chan's like, they came and saw me do all these stunts, and I was like jumping around and kicking shit and da da da. then they hired me on, and then they immediately said, "Oh, here's your stunt double, and we don't want you to do anything." And it's like, but why did you hire me then? Like, it's like, why do you like? Why? Like, if you're so desperate to get the He-Man property, why are you so desperate to get it and then just change it into something that nobody's going to want anyways? And again, the first person who said, "Oh, I love this show," I immediately responded saying, "Which figures are you picking up from Walmart today?" It's like, and then literally the people responding to mine were laughing, saying, "Yeah, you got it." It's like, now that it's great. You went on Netflix and you watched your Big Tila show and you pressed the thumbs up and I like this. And now you think that you can go toe to toe with the He-Man fandom, which has universally said this is crap. It's like, you are not equipped to go toe to toe with the fandom for clicking your little thumbs up and liking your little show. It's like, show me your He-Man collection. Oh, zero, bye.
Slacktivism.
It's slacktivism. It's like, look, I'm not, remember Chevy? We use this all the time. Fletch, remember Fletch, where he's in the girl's apartment and he's looking under the mattress, and that guy comes. He's like, "What are you doing here?" And he's like, "Oh," he goes, "Sorry." He goes, "I'm gonna have to pull rank on you. I'm with the mattress police." There's no tags on these mattresses. And it's like, I always use this. Like, I'm gonna have to pull rank. I'm gonna have to pull rank on you guys. You're not a He-Man fan, so shut your mouth. It's like, I'm not going to go to the doctor. Which is awesome thing. It's like, I'm not going to go to the doctor. There's 2 doctors to pick one. I performed 400 surgeries. How many of you performed? None. But I gave a thumbs up to this video about surgery. It's like, and then they're saying, "Oh, everyone's entitled to an opinion." You're correct. You have your rights to have your opinion, but I also have the rights to not listen to your dumbass opinion, and it's misinformed, and you don't know a damn thing. And even if you do, you still have to admit that the show's not that great anyway, because I am one of those guys that is willing to accept stuff that is not the source, and so I am going to watch that Constantine movie eventually. I own the Constantine movie on Blu-ray, so I will watch it eventually. I'm willing to say, this movie isn't really exact, but whatever. And Kevin Smith, we never addressed this. Kevin Smith kept saying, "Oh, everyone hates Orko and all that stuff, so we killed them."
Yeah.
First of all,
who told you that? Yeah.
Where did that? Yeah. Number one, where did that come from?
Mm-hmm.
Because when we saw the Masters of the Universe Dolph Lundgren movie, which I consider to be a minor masterpiece, when we saw the Masters of the Universe movie, Sean, we did not know each other. Steve, we didn't know each other. What was the major complaint? Everyone walking out saying, "What? There's no Orko? Yeah. Where was Orko?"
Just put a thing over that guy and he's not to fly.
Yeah, everyone, because I like I think it's Billy Barty who plays Gwildor.
He gets top billing.
Man, I gotta tell you, I like Gwildor. I don't know.
I have the Gwildor figure.
So do I, of course.
And it comes with the cosmic key.
I love the cosmic key. They call it the cosmic key. It's the most unique key in the universe. The tones it generates can open a doorway to anywhere. Precisely. And it's like, "Hey, Belle, yes, we matter. We do matter." The fans do matter. No,
fans matter, man,
because they invalidate your opinion by saying, "Oh, you're a hater," or "You're a toxic fan." It's like, well, how am I a hater? It's like, I'm supporting your thing. Like, I'm going to the theater, I'm buying your DVDs, I'm pre-ordering your movies. It's like, oh, now I'm just a hater. So anyways, but the Orko thing, just to finish that off, who said Orko sucked? I don't remember any. Yeah, Kevin Smith's like, "Oh, everyone said Orko sucked."
Yeah, no, but Kevin Smith was never a fan. That was the problem, and so he went into this with a guy who wrote the comics and was a fan, and some people who purported to be fans. But the problem is he's following their lead, not knowing really what fans of He-Man would like. He knows what he likes and doesn't like.
Mm-hmm.
He said he watched the show and everything. So to him, of course, Orko did suck. Listen, I think about it this way. When I was a teenager, Pokemon was really, really big, and Goosebumps was really, really big.
Yeah.
And I hated Goosebumps because I was a dumb teenager, and I was like, "This is for diaper piss babies." And it's like, this is ruining horror, because I was a stupid elitist teenager. I was a teenager.
Yeah.
I've been watching Goosebumps.
It's pretty neat.
On Netflix. It's awesome.
Yeah,
it's a great introduction for kids to horror. There's a lot of neat, fun like imaginative monsters in it and situations, and they've got some neat like Twilight Zone-ish twists and stuff. It's great.
Yeah.
It's great.
It's good intro horror. It's like the
but
Gate.
here's
when
the
we
thing.
watched Dolls and the Gate and all those movies. That was our intro horror.
My thing is my impression from when I was a teenager, if I didn't revisit it, if all I know is what my impressions from when I was a teenager, I'd be like, and someone says, you know what, make a Goosebumps thing. I'd be like, okay, it has to be stupid. It has to not really be horror and blah, 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 because that's my impression. It's like Pokemon. It's like, I don't know much about Pokemon because I was a teenager when it came out and it looked like it was for babies. I know Pikachu. I know Jigglypuff for whatever reason. And Charizard, that's a guy. And Ash, and there's a bad guy, and there's like a Team Rocket thing, and that's all I know. So if I made a Pokemon thing just based on that, because I wasn't a kid when it came out, I was a teenager and I thought it was stupid, then it would be a baby childish type of thing. And I'd kill off a whole bunch of the Pokemon because I'd be like, well, no one cares about these characters because I don't know who they are, and on and on and on. And I feel like this is how Kevin Smith approached Masters. He was a teenager when it came out. He told Joe Rogan he lost his virginity when he was like 13. So he doesn't care about He-Man. The cartoon came out when he was 13. So he doesn't care about that. So they're like, do a He-Man thing. So he's like, okay, well, Orko is goofy and stupid and no one likes him, right? So kill him. It's like, He-Man, he's corny and cheesy. Let's do a thing with Tila and stuff. Like, I have a daughter. Let's do a girl power thing. It's like, it's not really approaching it from the fans' perspective, and him telling everyone that it's a love letter to fans is absolutely asinine. Just come correct. Just tell us how you really feel. It's like, I don't know much about He-Man. They told me to make an end of days type of thing, like closing out the franchise, kind of like G.I. Joe Resolute. He probably doesn't know what that is. And so this is what I did. Just tell us what you're doing. Like, what, but to tell us that it's a love letter to the fans, I'm like, oh, cool. Like Orko does cool stuff, and like, and like Ram Man is at their side, and Ram Man is barely in this. I don't even think
at all
speaking role. It's like, yeah, it's not approaching it from the fans' perspective. My other problem too is all the talking points are back. It's like, oh, you don't like this, then like they did one of those they did Fat Man Beyond this time with just like Kevin Smith and like the guy who voiced Orko, and the guy who runs the bar that they're usually at, he comes in. They call him Bamf Man because he bamfs in, and he was like and he said the typical BS shit thing where he's like, if you don't like it, you have 130 episodes of the show. Go watch those. You have the 2000X and blah blah blah. And I'm like, you know what? Usually I'd be like, yeah, you're right. But you know what? I draw the line here. Fuck you. Yep. We waited 18 years for this show, and the show came out and it sucks and it pisses on your face. Yeah. And it's not even like it's like, as I said before, when I read reviews for and against this, but even the ones that liked this show called it the He-Man show. It's like people who are like, I just saw the latest He-Man, it's awesome. He-Man is the brand. He-Man's the brand. I don't care that it's called Masters of the Universe. Even when I was a kid, I called it He-Man.
Of course,
called Masters of the Universe. It's like,
called it that.
Yeah, and the thing is,
people
still
like, call it the He-Man movie. Everyone's like, oh, did you like the He-Man movie? It's like, there is no He-Man movie. There's a Masters of the Universe live action film. Are you referring to that film?
Yeah. It's like, can they at least understand why anyone would be upset over this? It's like I don't. This shouldn't have been the show. Like the way Kevin Smith was talking about a love letter to the fans. This shouldn't have been the show where you're like, well, you know what? I have the old cartoons. Let me go watch those. It's like, I was looking forward to seeing a new reinvention. We got one with the 2000X ones. So because of that, I was like, well, they have that to draw from. But it's funny. 2 days before, actually the week before it debuted, Kevin Smith said he saw the old the 2000X one. He's like, yeah, and I'm like, Jesus, you're just watching that now?
Yeah,
oh my God, what the hell is this show gonna be? And it's like that show did all the things he claimed this show was going to do. And it's like he didn't realize that like someone else did all this before, you know. It's like, yeah, it's a baffling, like my only glimmer of hope is that there's 5 more episodes, but the thing is, it's like Sleepaway Camp. It's like, why do I think things are going to be different?
Like, man,
they're not going to be different. They're not going to be different. It's like there might be a He-Man fight, but you know what? I'm pretty sure this is going the way we think it's going to go. And honestly, he should have said it. It closes out, like, here's a show that closes out the universe, right? You know, it's like, and tell an apocalyptic tale. Instead, we thought we were getting a continuation of what we remember, and it wasn't. It was like, you know, He-Man dies twice, Orko dies, Teela is a mean-spirited asshole that you have to follow because she's the protagonist for whatever reason. Right. It's craziness. It's badly written. None of it is earned because, as I said, was there a series Bible? Who are these characters? They're just acting out of character just because you want them to be there for your script. It's BS.
Hold on, Evelyn is awful because literally they're talking and she's like, oh, I added the evil, right? Like that's one of the lines, like they say, her name is Lynn, and she's like, I added the evil. So you added the evil. Then she kept saying, oh, she's like, oh, Skeletor's keeping me down, and I have some good in me, but Skeletor, whatever. It's like it's as though it's all Skeletor's. Like, does that seem like a strong? Fault. Yeah. Does that seem like a strong woman? It's like
in the show, she's gonna overcome. I feel the end battle in episode 10 will be Teela versus Evelyn.
Evelyn's gonna turn good.
Like that. But the thing is,
Evelyn's gonna turn good.
In the old show, though, Evelyn tried to be the new Skeletor. That was her thing. It's like she tried to overthrow him and stuff like that, and she would like learn magic from him to try and overthrow him. That was the thing. Because they never watched the show, they didn't understand that was her real angle, and not that she's a poor woman that's kept down by, you know, like, patriarchy, freaking Skeletor. It's like, that wasn't really the character, but sure, if you want to go that way,
right? As though Skeletor was the patriarchy in some weird idea in Kevin Smith's dumbass mind. It's like, Evelyn is like Starscream. All these characters are the same.
Right. Yeah.
All of these characters. Look, guys, like this has been well documented. We all know it's the same characters in every show. Everybody's got the same thing, right? There's always the character who's trying to, you know, Destro, Starscream,
tries to be the
Evelyn,
new commander.
Right? These are the people who are trying to be the other person, right? Yeah. Who is it in? Is there anyone in Thundercats? I'm trying to think. Who, like Jackalman or something? I don't know. But like, there's always someone who's trying to be the other guy. This is not new, okay? But Kevin Smith is so out of touch with this that he doesn't know what's going on. And the thing is, now he was hired and they didn't care what he did with the property, I guess. But when I just forgot his name. Darn, I just had it in my Bride with White Hair and Freddy versus Jason. What's his name?
Ronnie Yu.
When he did Child's Play Part 4, Bride Chucky. Oh, that new Chucky show looks 10 out of 10.
Wicked, yeah.
I can't believe it. I'm a sucker for. I love slasher movies. Anyways, we're gonna do a Chucky thing big time because I'm gonna watch that like crazy. I'm gonna watch it with Chucky next to me, and I'm gonna hug Chucky and watch that. So, anyways, it's like Ronnie Yu. Literally, I have the entire magazine which covers the entire making of Freddy vs. Jason, and he's like, he didn't know anything. Yeah, it's like, I make like Chinese, you know, flying Chinese men movies, and it's like. Well, you're going to do Freddy vs. Jason. He goes, you know what I did? I watched all the Friday the 13th movies and all the Nightmare on Elm Street movies, and I made notes. And then I said, Freddy movies seem to have this type of teenager. They're a little bit more thought-provoking. There's a little the kills are a little bit more interesting. There's dream kills. So he goes, I need to have a lot of dream kills, and Freddy needs to kill a lot of his type of victims. Jason's victims are dumbass partiers, you know, weed, you know, they're drunk and high. He goes, Jason needs to kill those type of people. Then they need to have an epic fight at the end because that's the point of this movie. Ta-da! And I present to you Freddy versus Jason.
You're truncating the long. We could do a 2-hour thing on that because they had script after script after script, which are so stupid.
I've got that book in the closet.
And then it got so bad that like the writers I don't know if it was Ronnie Yu, but like the writers made a manifesto, like they made a mission statement.
Yes, they made a mission statement.
This movie should have this. It's like, and it's all the basic common sense. It should have Freddy as Freddy, and Jason is Jason.
The real Jason, the real Freddy, not
they must
the
fight
Fred
at
heads.
one point.
Not the leader of the Fred head cult.
And there was another one where a real serial killer calling himself Jason Voorhees was put on trial in the real world, and then Freddy somehow gets into his head or something, and it's like, okay, but what is this? It's not even a one from the movies we saw. Like it's like New Line Cinema purposefully and specifically bought the rights to Freddy versus to Friday the 13th, not just to make that Part 9 movie, but to make a movie where so if you're not using the character that you bought, then what are you doing?
Right, that was my Jackie Chan thing. Guys, we just signed a 3-picture deal with Jackie Chan in which he will do none of his own stunts, will not perform martial arts, and I don't know why did we get Jackie Chan?
Like pretty expensive
for his Shakespearean talents, like for his amazing English accent, or like I don't understand.
My other thing too is I don't like this idea. They keep doing this where they feel they have to deconstruct things, and the thing is, as I said, we waited 18 years. I don't think people realize it's been 18 years since the last show for He-Man. So it's like, don't deconstruct. Like that's not what I would appreciate. I would want it to be reset to what I like, what the franchise is. And like they keep doing, it's like they did that for Last Jedi. They deconstructed the shit out of that. They did that for specific DC movies. But it's like it'd been a while since a lot of these characters on the screen. One hadn't even been on screen before, like on the big screen. It's like, please don't deconstruct them right out the gate. Do that later, and but there have been deconstructions in the past. Like I was thinking about, like, this was a deconstruction.
Yeah, I was someone brought that up.
Yeah, but the thing was that we had Transformers at the time, and it felt like when I was a kid, season 3 felt like next level. And I know some kids feel like this movie killed G1 for them. If you look at like the popular YouTubers, they hate it. But it's funny. I've always loved this movie, and it's funny because maybe it's because I already knew those characters from season 3, and so I loved the film. But another one was G.I. Joe Resolute. Some people hate it. Some people love it. It was the kind of special that was supposed to close out G.I. Joe.
Right.
They kill Bazooka and like Dr. Mindbender right out of the gate. And then they continue to kill guys and stuff like that throughout the thing.
No, Slide,
yeah. G.I. Joe Resolute was cool. It was neat. I think what stings about this is that it's not coming from a long line of similar media. It's just right out the gate. This is a new show, and this is a new He-Man. And by the way, he's dead in the first episode. It's like it's like, as I said, 18 years, and it's like I would like to see He-Man do stuff.
I want to point out because I saw people make the Transformers movie analogy. Also, someone did something with I saw somebody on Twitter post about Empire Strikes Back, and there's another one they posted, I can't remember, and they're saying, well, imagine these movies came out today, and people say, oh, you killed Han Solo in Empire Strikes Back. It's like, well, firstly, he didn't die. He's in carbonite, so that was just a false statement. Oh, you killed Optimus Prime and all that. Remember, too, the Transformers movie is a continuation of the show. It didn't come out 18 years after, and then we killed Optimus Prime.
And you have expectations to see the characters you love.
Right. Yeah. Right. Yeah. Like, it was like this, it did raise the stakes, and it did piss people off.
Yeah.
But it did raise the stakes, and Megatron also died as well and got reincarnated as Galvatron.
I'll just say one thing about Transformers, the movie, like 86, is it's the only movie I know of, and maybe someone else in the chat knows something else, but it's the only movie I know of from a TV show that actually concludes everything from the show and pluses it up a level, because
Right.
it's like Starscream and Megatron were always at each other in seasons 1 and 2. They have a final. It's like he fries Starscream on screen. And it's like Optimus and Megatron have a duel to the death. You know, it's like, it's crazy. It's like all these things are. It's like the Decepticons finally make their final push and like pretty much trounce the Autobots. It's insane. It's awesome.
The first act concludes the 2 seasons leading up to it.
Yeah.
And then the next 2 acts are literally the pilot
building up season 3.
Right. This is actually quite genius.
Look,
it's genius.
Pisses people off though, but yeah.
But I saw.
I thought it was awesome as a kid. I don't know, and I was a Transformers guy, so
like I loved it, man. Yeah. I was like, this is a great movie because I was excited for season 3 now.
I loved the balls of it, and I couldn't put that into words when I was a kid. But I was like, I'd never seen anything so daring up to that point.
I was stuck. I know. No, it was. We're like Optimus Prime, but when
Megatron, you couldn't put that into words.
Yeah, and like Starscream he goes, he throws them out of Astral. He's like, we need to lighten our load. And it's like, you know, survival of the fittest. It's like, everyone's like, you know,
it pays me to do this.
He smiles. They animated the little smile. It's like, and then it's like, and what I like too, when I don't want to turn this into Transformers, the movie stream.
We could do it.
When Galvatron comes back and Starscream's like, it's like, Megatron, is that you? Here's a hint. And he just annihilated him. He just disintegrated him. There wasn't like a big talk. He just disintegrated him. He's like, that's it, done. Now, anyways, but again, that came out during the run. And if part 2 of Star Wars killed Han Solo, let's say they did kill Han Solo in the second one, right? But that's the continuation of that story that's still going. It's like there's only been one movie. Killing Han Solo after, you know, decades, we're finally seeing them back, and the advertisement is, look, Chewie, we're home, we're back. Oh my God, we're back, and then he dies like a loser. Didn't you think that would disappoint people? How dumb can you be? You ruin the character, and then you kill them off like a loser. It's like, this is a grave offense.
Well, and the biggest offense of the sequel trilogy is that you had the cast of the original trilogy living, and you had the characters in those movies, and you never once meet each other. What the hell is that? You know, it's
and Han Solo is dead, and Leia runs to Rey and hugs her. It's like, do you have a fundamental misunderstanding of what is going on?
Yeah, where's Chewie? Where'd you log in? Yeah,
Chewbacca has been there from day one. They've been attached at the hip. Man, these life debts are like pretty killer. They've been together all the time. Leia should have hugged the walking carpet, and it's like, instead it's like, oh, let's hug Rey. It's like, who's Rey?
Yeah, this is totally unearned. It's like, I know she's the main character in your eyes because that's what you're trying to do, but once you're just pigeonholing this, it's like it comes out of nowhere. And listen, I hate it when people say like, I don't like this term, I don't like that term. I'm okay with the term organic because that's what it is. It's not organic. It doesn't come from the story or the characters. It's just there just because it's like when they try to push a face in wrestling and it's like, it ain't working. You know, it's like what the hell?
Yes, the crowd has to be behind.
Yeah,
you need that Iron Sheik moment. You know, when Hulkamania is born, and we're laughing, but like that's when it was born. It has to be, because Iron Sheik was like these people are literally hated in real life. Like nobody could disassociate these people. Like Iron Sheik's like getting death threats and shit, right? Like they're like, we're going to murder this man. It's like, guys, he's a professional wrestler.
He's a wrestler,
he's man. A guy. I love the fact that Nikolai Volkov is Croatian like me, and they're like, oh, he's this evil Russian. And it's like, he's not even from Russia. But anyway.
Just as a side thing, like Nikolai Volkov and Iron Sheik would drive together to venues. And I think, and sometimes they'd have to go to some pit stop somewhere, and people are like, what the hell? People hated these guys.
Let's get them.
It was back in the days of kayfabe when people believed it, you know.
Believed it. So I mean, Hulkamania was sort of, you know, loosely, let's say, born on that day.
Yeah.
And it's like, but this is how this works, right? The crowd just gets pumped, and now they push this, right? And the thing is, it's like that's how it's got to be. So, anyways, so this person pointing out all these things, it's like, guys, they did not advertise the Transformers movie. Well, we got what was advertised. We got the conclusion of the first two series,
and then we got die. That was the TV spot. It's like
right. It's like okay, this is like, remember that show from 20 or 40 years ago or whatever that you loved so much? It's back, except that it's not back and it sucks. It's like, oh, and then if you don't like it, you're just a hater. And toxic. You're a toxic man baby. It's like, because you hate it. It's like,
when you don't like this, you're a toxic man baby. It's like, Jesus Christ, why wouldn't I hate this show?
Well,
it's like, can you not understand that though? And the thing is, Kevin Smith is like, well, there's more. It's like, are you fucking stupid? you released 5 things official. So, and in this official release, He-Man dies twice, you kill Orko off, and blah blah blah. And he's like, do you really believe that Orko is really dead and blah, blah, blah? It's like, well, I don't know. You did it. It's like, he's trying to make you believe that perhaps like people come back and all that stuff and they reset everything. But I don't think that's going to happen. And even as I said, even in these first 5, it just seems like they're setting up Teela to be the next thing.
She's going to be the king or
sure, you can tell that story, but like, that's not
what happened to King Randor. Where's Queen Marlena and King Randor? And can Queen Marlena go back to Earth or something?
Does he even know that? I was gonna think. I was like, do they know that Marlena is a human from
Earthling? Yeah. No.
Yeah, and I just point out too with Kevin Smith that Kevin Smith has been universally adored by the fandom forever.
But it's fairly unearned. But go on, yeah.
Yeah. No, I'm not. It's not about whether he earns it. It's like, he has been universally adored, even when his film career has gone in the toilet, which it has since Zack and Miri loved a porno,
right?
Or made a porno, and then like since then it's just been a constant downhill travel. This is the first time that the fandom, the nerds, his fan base, have lashed out at him. So of course he doesn't know how to respond to it. He's always been loved no matter what he's done and what he said. He was everyone's favorite pothead, and all that stuff. And now he's pissed on you because he's proven he doesn't care. And actually, he's proven that before. But people weren't paying attention.
No, it's true. And listen, he's a poser. The thing is, he's from the 70s. And a lot of the iconography people love now is from the 80s. And he stepped into something that was beloved by millions of people and millions, because millions of kids watched it. And the thing is that like he's trying to pass himself off. He's trying to play the same game he's played with comics for years and years.
Yes.
He's a big comic book expert and all that stuff. Like by his own admission, like when he was a kid, he didn't give a shit. And when he was a teenager, he didn't give a shit. It wasn't until his mid to late teens when Walt Flanagan got him into comics. Then all of a sudden, he's the world's foremost expert on comic books. I was reading them when I was a kid. Yeah. I didn't have a 1 in front of my freaking age. And the thing is that, like, that's it. Like, when I read stories like that, I'm like, because I know about it because he said it before. And he's also said that he didn't care about He-Man like twice. That there's a tweet, and also he told Ming that in an episode of Comic Book Men. It's like, you don't like it, then don't tell me that you're a big mega fan. There were a couple articles. One I think was Variety a year ago about how he's a big mega fan and he's gonna bring you the but he wasn't. And the thing is, he's played this game with comics for years. Now he played it with something that he didn't understand. And now he's getting burned for it. He didn't understand the show. He didn't understand the fandom. And he's like, you know what? I've gotten away with this with Marvel Comics and DC Comics for years. Let me do this with He-Man. It's like, it's a different kettle of fish, buddy. It's like, you can't fudge this.
That toy,
Wikipedia for this,
that toy, and the other thing is too, is that Grayskull documentary, Power of Grayskull. There's the Toys That Made Us. There's still the 2000X cartoon as well. But those things on Netflix have been super popular. I heard that the Toys That Made Us He-Man episode has been the most watched by far of all the other Toys That Made Us ones.
Yeah.
He-Man was making $6 billion in that. I don't know what's the golden year of that toy line, like the second
He-Man?
year, or
like 85 or 86.
Sure.
Yeah.
It was like the second or third year into the toy line. $6 billion. Holy shit. It's like, this is crazy, right?
Yeah.
It's like, you messed up. Like, I was going to sing It Must Have Been Love, but it's over now, buddy, for you and your fans. But the thing is like, and could not be reached, said, I didn't like Clerks that much.
No, I never liked Clerks. I think it's bullshit.
I hate Clerks too.
We saw that, yeah.
We saw that. It's awful. Yeah. I genuinely like Jay and Silent Bob Strike Back.
Yeah.
I think it's that one I have right here, and the other one I have is Dogma. Those are the only two Kevin Smith movies that I own, and I got the special edition of both, so I'm not going to lie. I never liked them. I think Dogma is a great movie, and there's a lot of cool, fun stuff. I like the Jay and Silent Bob parts too, but I like the whole story of that movie. And Jay and Silent Bob Strike Back is so like crazy.
Ridiculous.
It's so ridiculous that I literally laughed throughout most of it.
It's his funniest movie.
Everything else I don't like.
I enjoyed Mallrats. I enjoyed Chasing Amy. I have all four of those movies. That's it. I'm out. Like I'm not going to even revisit like Red State or any of his other ones. Like I don't care.
Oh, I do own Red State because I got it for like $1 or something. Anyway, go on, Steve. Well, hold on, let Steve finish this thing.
Yeah. So like the thing is that he had a very limited run where he was what we would consider good.
Yeah.
It went very quickly. I didn't mind Jersey Girl. I did see Jersey Girl. That was probably one of his most mature movies, if not his most mature movie. But there's something about it that's like, okay, it's fine. Like it's not as fun or as interesting as the other movies. Dogma's his best. Jay and Silent Bob's his funniest. That I think we can all agree to.
Yeah, I agree with that.
But like, again, like Kevin Smith has pissed on the comic book fans for years, and he's actually done it by not finishing. He started, I think it was Spider-Man, Black Cat, The Evil Men Do, never finished it. He did Daredevil, Bullseye, Target, never finished it. He did Batman Cacophony, I own that. He did he was supposed to do Batman the Widening Gyre, never finished it.
Like, he did finish it?
Yeah. He didn't finish it.
Green Arrow, he did Green Arrow for a time.
Yeah, but like he's constantly, yeah, guys, I'm doing a new comic. It's going to be out, and he doesn't finish it
because he doesn't love comics.
No,
he doesn't love them. He wants to do his,
He
never did. He wants to do his fast little movies. Yeah, he just wants to do his fast little quick movies. And it's like, okay, you did your movie, and he's promoting Clerks 3. What like the guy's talking about He-Man. I'm sorry, Masters of the Universe, and the guy's plugging his Clerks 3. It's like, buddy, I wouldn't go see Clerks 3 if you literally like paid me to see it. It's like I could not watch that Jay and Silent Bob reboot.
Yeah,
I've watched up. You'll know the point I watched up to if you ever try to watch it. As soon as his daughter comes into it, spoilers. Kevin Smith's real life daughter, Harley Quinn or whatever. In the movie she plays Jay's daughter.
Yeah, I know
from Shannon Elizabeth.
Yeah.
You're right, from their thing from Jay and Silent Bob Strike Back.
Yeah,
and she is the most garbage character maybe ever in all of cinema. And then her friends come in, and they're the second and third worst garbage characters. I couldn't take it, and I shut off. My wife's like, "I can't believe you're shutting this off." I'm like, and she's like, "You always watch these shit movies." I'm like, "I can't do it."
I have watched Fat Man on Batman and then Fat Man Beyond since day one, and also Hollywood Babylon as well, which they don't do much anymore because of the pandemic, but. Right. But they still did Fat Man Beyond, and after watching this, I can't go back. because I can't listen to their opinions on him and Mark Bernardin. I can't listen to their opinions on this stuff anymore, and I don't want to be shot on as a fan who doesn't like this show, and belittled by that Banff man or whatever. You know, oh, just watch your old shows and stuff, and like, and all these bullshit talking points and all that stuff from Kevin Smith himself. Or I never said this, I never said that. And like the thing is, Kevin Smith, he reminds me of Jay Leno in that he wants to be loved, and he'll carry on. Kevin Smith is hilarious because he'll be like, I don't care about this, and he'll tell you for an hour how he doesn't care about what the fans think, which means he fucking cares.
Of course.
You know, and like that Fat Man Beyond he did with the guy who voiced Orko. And now that was supposed to be a big triumphant, like, we did this show and all that. And
is that where they disabled comments?
Yes.
They disabled my comment. I commented. Yeah. I was like in the top 5 comments. I was waiting. And like I commented, I'm like, hey, what's going on here? And it said it was a 5. First they put a slow.
Yes.
They put a slow on comments. So the way that works is I can.
You talking about comments or live chat?
Live chat.
Live chat. Yeah, they disabled the live chat.
Yeah. No, not in the beginning.
So no, yeah, I didn't know that. I thought it was all
no, dude, I was right there. I was the first one in, right? Not the first one. I was like the 20th person in, right? And then it said, oh, slow mo is on. So slow mode is where you can change it so you guys can see comments as they come up, right? Like right now. So what I can change it to 5-minute delay.
Yeah.
So before your comment shows up, I get an opportunity to remove it, right? So I can remove comments or block people from the live chat. So first they put it on slow mo, right? And then it was just like bullshit. Like it was, and then they're just like, yeah, we're just disabling the chat because
that's that Banff guy that he was probably controlling that.
Okay. Yeah. Well, the interviewer was the most infuriating person.
That guy, oh my God, what a homunculus that guy was.
dude. I've never, like, my God, I was so angry that I think I could have beat up Reg Park, Schwarzenegger, Stallone, and Dolph Lundgren combined. I think I could have taken them all out. I was so angry, just based on pure anger. I'm like, if this guy ever was in my vicinity, I would punch his face in. Because I can't stand people who are pretending like everything's fine and how nobody has a valid point.
Yeah.
Like, I could never be a talk show host because I would, and I wouldn't be rude to people, but I would legitimately ask, like, Kevin, when you killed He-Man, can you possibly fathom that people would be angry at that? And it's like, no.
18 years.
Yeah, it's like 18 years. Like, don't you think that was a little weird? And I would have loved to have interviewed Kevin Smith with Last Jedi and be like, dude, you're crying over this movie. It's like, don't you think that Luke was treated poorly? Like, let's say there's positive points about Last Jedi. Oh, the Praetorian fights were cool. That was cool, and there's some good looking stuff. Vehicles look cool. It's like, but don't you think that they kind of
cool? Yeah, I bought them all.
Right? It's like, don't you think that they wouldn't have done that? Like, my wife doesn't give a crap about Star Wars. She likes Rogue One and the first 2. She doesn't like she doesn't like Return of the Jedi. She doesn't like the Ewoks. That's a fail, but whatever. She doesn't like the Ewoks. She doesn't like the Death Star coming back. She's like, didn't they do the Death Star already? I'm like, yeah, I know that. And she's just like, I just don't care. But she likes the Luke Skywalker parts. She likes all the Luke parts in Return of the Jedi, but not anything. Yeah. That's true. Yeah. Anything that wasn't involving Luke is not the best, right? But whatever, it's still good. But she likes Rogue One and those. But again, it's the 3 originals plus Rogue One. Even she's like, man, Luke is really, why is Luke so weird in this movie? I'm like, exactly. Like, even the normies are like, yeah, it's like this is not Luke. Is this Luke? It's like, why?
Yeah, no, the thing about Star Wars is that there are no normies. People are always like, Star Wars, the fans. Star Wars is fucking mainstream. It's like, it's only audiences.
Yeah.
Audience. That's anyway. Yeah.
Yeah, no. So that's my point. Same with Star Trek. Star Trek, people might not know all the details of Star Trek.
My mom knows who Captain Kirk and Spock are. Its audiences is not fans.
Right.
Yeah.
But everybody knows, oh yeah, Spock's logically smart. You know, he's always like calm. He doesn't have emotions. It's like, well, in this one, he kind of has emotions because he's half human. Okay, fuck off. That's not Spock. It's like he suppresses them. Well, this is before he suppressed them. No.
What?
There's no before he suppressed them. He suppressed them when he fucking could suppress them. The second he knew about it. It's like there's no before. You're gonna go back to where Spock is an infant. It's like, oh, he hasn't suppressed his memory, his emotions yet. No, he suppressed them all the time. You just need to read a one-page synopsis on that character. It's so stupid. And it's like, well, this is my take. Nobody wants your take. They want normal Spock. It's like, I'm sorry. And the people who are loving it are just fooling themselves. They're just like, oh, it's so great. Well, it's not Spock, and no one cares, and everyone hates it, and no one bought the toys. The toys are out. They sat on the shelves forever. They literally marked them down, and they marked them down again, and they marked them down again. Literally, you could buy all the Star Trek toys for 99 cents at my Toys R Us, and people still didn't buy them, and they went away. So all these people that love the Star Trek, I didn't see you at Toys R Us today, because all of the things, you know what sold out at Toys R Us and my Toys R Us? I went today. I went yesterday to my Toys R Us. You know what was sold out? Power Rangers. Everything. I missed it by a week. Like, goddamn, I'm on top of this Power Rangers stuff.
Power Rangers is hot, man. I don't know.
Yeah. I missed it by a week. It's fucking bare. There was 2 figures left of the same guy. I'm gonna take a picture next time to show you guys. It's bare. I'm like, what happened? I'm like, how did I miss this? I didn't miss Beast Morphers. I got everybody. I missed everything for this Dino Fury or whatever. It's like, I'm like, how did I miss all this? And you know, I was so bad that I literally thought that those were Beast Morpher toys. I'm like, oh, this must be leftover Beast Morpher toys. I'm like, oh, wait, this is the new line. I'm like, it's gone. There's nothing. I'm like, how? I missed out that whole thing. Yeah. And those little figures that you got, Sean, those little Marvel ones.
Yeah.
That is, there was like a couple of Hulks.
Yeah,
it's like that, they're gone.
I have all the ones that I can find.
That you can find.
Yeah.
So how come we didn't sell out on all the Star Trek with the wonderful Star Trek toys that they can? And then notice after that first week, 0 Star Trek toys came out after that.
Yeah, that's been the curse of that franchise.
So look, you know when Doctor Who's not doing well when there isn't 4 million Doctor Who toys, because. Yeah. When David Tennant was Doctor, there was literally Doctor Who section. If you go to UK toy stores, like literally, like see my entire background, it's all Doctor Who toys, right? It's like everyone is grabbing those. You couldn't even get Eccleston's screwdriver, sonic screwdriver, gone. We had to pay $50 and it's rare now because people were just like, they snapped it up. It's like Doctor Who's back and it was mania. Doctor Who's back. It's high production values are back. Top-notch actors, right? Soundtrack amazing. It's like Doctor Who is back, baby. And if you didn't buy that shit immediately, it's over. I don't know. Like Power Rangers keeps selling out. So and you might be right now. If Kevin Smith made a Power Rangers movie, he'd make it really stupid, right? Because same thing as you're pointing, Sean, with Goosebumps.
Yeah, it's like he was old when it came out. It's like, oh, it's stupid, right?
It's stupid, right? Oh, it's just a bunch of idiots jumping around.
Love letter to the fans. Yeah,
it's a love letter to the fans. It's like,
I mean,
no.
This was the guy who suggested that critics should pay to watch movies they review.
It was for a cop-out.
Yeah.
And then Roger Ebert's like, I will never fucking do that.
Roger Ebert was the best. He's like, Kev, they didn't like it when they saw it for free.
Yeah.
They definitely won't like it if they pay to see it.
Yeah, I think Kevin Smith missed that point. It's like they're getting paid as their job to watch it.
Kevin Smith has always been shitty. My favorite shitty thing with him was Clerks, the Clerks cartoon. They had a primetime Clerks animated show, and it was animated by Disney. Like the highest thing you can get is Disney, right? And they aired it on ABC prime time, and it flopped. No one watched it, and so they canceled it. And there were some unaired episodes. And Kevin Smith was furious. So, they canceled it, and he shat on it. He's like, Disney didn't do a good job with it, and ABC didn't give it a good time slot. It's like they gave it like an 8 p.m. time slot, like freaking Thursday or something. It's like they gave it the biggest push. You got the grandest animator in the land, Disney. It's like Disney didn't even have to do this for you, but they did it. They got their best people on it, and you shot all over them. The only reason why it failed was because it sucked. It's like no one wants to have Clerks fucking cartoon. Who the fuck thought of that? You know? But they all helped you out. It's not fucking ABC. It's like what are you pissing and moaning about, asshole? Fuck that guy.
That's
the other shitty thing. Oh, we're gonna do shitty things. That
all right, let's do it.
Okay,
and I want to talk about Black Widow, the Scarlet Joe thing.
Wizard Magazine. They had a lot of weird quotes from people, and I remember one time they were interviewing Kevin Smith, and he said, "I swear to God," and I thought I hallucinated this until I saw someone tweet about it the other day. It's like, "Oh, I just read this thing in an old Wizard magazine." He said that he didn't understand Jack Kirby. He's like, "I don't get the whole Jack Kirby thing. I don't understand it. It's like his art isn't that good, and he wasn't, and he did the same things everyone else did. I don't get the whole." And I thought, as a kid, I thought, "Oh, maybe he's being the whole '90s cynical and stuff." No, it's Kevin Smith, and that's what happens when you became a comic book fan 2 years ago. You don't fucking understand. It's not deep rooted in you. It's like he fucking said this. And it's in Wizard Magazine. I could probably pull up the quote one day and fucking email it to you.
I'm gonna find that sucker.
Yeah, I had that because I remember reading that and being angry as like a young man. I was like, "What the fuck?"
Wow.
It's like he fucking Galactus. Just for that alone, he's earned a place in comic.
Silver Surfer.
Yeah. Like, Jesus.
And that's Silver Surfer's a Jack Kirby OG. No help from anybody.
Yeah, like. I remember one time we were reviewing the Spider-Man comic where Sandman had that armor and stuff.
Yeah,
the Jack Kirby armor. And you said, and this is true. We're not throwing shade. You said Jack Kirby had a tendency sometimes to over design things. That's true. When he did like gods and things, he went for like the Celestials look amazing, and that's what those would be. It's like there's these crazy cosmic gods with some, and there's some like ancient sort of stuff on them and everything in design work. They're awesome. Like people like who wrote the Galactus trilogy. It's like I think freaking Jack Kirby. I mean, like
because it's a Jack Kirby
Galactus
thing.
Is not a Stan Lee thing.
No, it's not.
Yeah.
No, look. Man, I don't want to do Stan versus Jack, but Jack's my boy. Jack's my boy. But look, Stan Lee is amazing, right?
Yeah.
And like I don't want to take something away from Stan Lee. I don't want to be Kevin Smith and take something away from He-Man to add to Tila. Yeah. I'm not taking away something from Stan Lee to add to Jack. I'm just saying Jack is awesome.
Yeah.
Stan Lee is also awesome. Look, Stan Lee is the voice of Marvel. For anybody watching those cartoons, I don't give a F who you are. It's like Stan Lee is the face of Marvel. That the glasses,
and he also gave people credit on the opening pages. He started that. It came up every so often, but he said, "I don't care who you are or what you did. You're all the fucking letterers are on there." It's like
you are right. No, you're right. And reading those credits is really irritating. It's like, well, how many like whoa, everybody's on this. And it's like every single stupid person. And it's not just like, oh, they're like, I used to think there's the artist and the writer. Oh boy. Yeah. It's like, letterer. You're like,
no, but
who cares?
That's the thing. Like, because people are like, everybody. Oh, he took credit for things. It's like, I don't know. He's famous in comics for giving people credit first, you know? Yeah. Now there might have been situations, but I don't think they were malicious, you know?
No. This isn't. We're not talking Bill Finger here. We're not talking about getting
the Marvel method.
I just made that up. Getting the finger.
Yeah. No, but the Marvel method is confusing, and the thing is, you can be forgiven if you think that the artist wrote stuff because the Marvel method was weird, but it's how they beat DC because they could produce more work that way.
Faster.
Marvel method was Stan Lee comes up with a story, and the artist is tasked with paneling and drawing the story without any dialogue. So if Stan Lee comes up with a story, depending on how detailed that is, really the artist is writing the story because they're showing you the story in 20 something pages, and then Stan Lee puts his lettering on it. Yeah. And then that's dialogue. That was the dialogue. That was the Marvel method. From that you can say, well, did Stan Lee really write this? It's like, depending on how much detail he gave when he gave the story, So anyways,
and Stan Lee was, so this Marvel method is used for everything. And Stan Lee, because he was the head of a lot of these books, a lot of the times he's just giving you a rough, like he'll be like, okay, look, yeah, all right, there's going to be this god or something that shows up and he wants to devour the earth or whatever, and he's going to fight the FF, go for it. And then Jack Kirby draws Silver Surfer, and Stan Lee's on video saying this everywhere, saying, he goes, I got the pages, and he's like, well, what the heck's, who's this guy on this surfboard? He's like, oh, he goes, well, this guy's so big that he's not going to just travel around. Like, how, like, think of all the energy that's going to consume, and like, where's he going to go? So it's like, he has a guy who's super fast that can go through the cosmos and find spots, And it's like, oh, that's a cool.
So he made the heralds, like Jack Kirby made the heralds.
Right. Now the thing is that what was the best part of, now you start to think, well, what was right?
It's a collaborative effort, but the thing is, who's the driving force of the story?
Right. And what's the coolest thing? Look, Fantastic Four is awesome. Nobody's going to deny that. But when you're looking at it, you're like, oh man, Silver Surfer's the fucking best, man. This guy's awesome. So like, and Galactus visually is awesome. So the visuals, look, and that's why, we're going to fight, Rob Liefeld, but like, the visuals, like I was buying something like, well, this looks dynamic, and you bought it. Jack Kirby, guys were like punching, and it's like they're like punching at you, and you're like, oh shit! Like, look, I like DC, Oh man, I don't want to go DC versus Marvel either, because I'm tired of that thing.
It's a fact that Marvel was trouncing DC in the 70s and 80s.
Look, and we know the reasons. Because everything was super exciting. Every Marvel book, and if you go into the Bronze Age, any stinking Bronze Age comic is like, well, this was awesome.
Yeah.
Just any of them. Just, our buddy said if it had the Marvel Comics group banner.
Yeah, the banner, then it's like, awesome.
It's automatically just random. Like random shit. You're like, oh, let's pick up some random.
Skull the Slayer was awesome.
Sure. Oh, this is cool. Yeah. Right? Like you're like
freaking Kilgore. Like,
and like Conan and all that stuff. Like, can you imagine Conan was like one of the top and like one of the top guys?
Yeah.
Like, for Christ's sakes, Conan. Where'd that come from?
It's a well-written show. Well-written comic series, though.
Yeah. So I mean, that's the thing. So okay, I wanted to talk real quick, address this Blackwood, because Black Widow thing. I don't know if you guys heard. So ScarJo is suing,
what's her face sued Disney?
Is suing Disney. So one of the great things, and I saw this on Geeks and Gamers, which everyone hates. But sometimes they've got some funny. I gotta tell you, they got some funny videos sometimes. That guy's pretty funny sometimes. And he's like, well, whose side are you on now? Because everyone keeps saying, oh, Disney's a great company, and they're all virtuous, and they make all these strong women things, and ScarJo's a strong woman, except now she's going against Disney. So who do you side? This is the problem when you start. Well,
if you go that route, but that has nothing to do with strong woman. It's just that they didn't change her contract because of COVID.
But
right.
The problem is that,
it's like, yeah, go ahead, Steve.
No, the problem is that the name of the game has been who is the most virtuous.
Right.
And Disney's like, we are virtuous. We are for the people. Mm-hmm. No, you're not.
No, you're not.
No one believes this. Yeah. Anyone who believes this is a kid. They're naive or something. Yeah. You are not virtuous, but you're going to, and it's not just Disney. It's a lot of companies now. That's why cancel culture is so dangerous, because these companies are like, we are virtuous. Now, let me explain why that is. Because now brands themselves have monetary value. Found that out because I heard a company I work for, they're like, we're one of the top 10 most valuable brands in the world. And I'm like, what do you mean brands? And it's like literally like, it's like Amazon, Google, Apple, like Disney, right? Well, in order to keep the monetary value of your brand up, you gotta be like, we are virtuous. We are, we're the good guys. No, you're not. A large corporation will never be the good guy. Yeah. Ever. You guys make money. You fire people when you don't make enough money. That in itself takes you out of the virtue game. I don't care what you do. Right. I don't care what social justice thing you're backing today. We need to hire more women in leadership roles. We got to hire more blacks in leadership roles. We got to hire more, LGBTQ plus people in leadership roles.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter, because as soon as you don't make money, all those people you're hiring are gone.
Yeah.
And Disney has criminally underpaid their talent for years.
Yeah.
I think Robin Williams made $100,000 for voicing the genie in Aladdin, and he sued Disney.
I remember that.
To
get
more money.
And it's because they kept using the voice in toys and games.
Yeah.
And he was like, "Wait a minute," because I specifically remember that. That's in the beginning of all this. It's like all the dolls and stuff had his voice, and you would think that he would get royalties for those things. No. It's like, wait, my voice in this fucking game that my kid is playing. What the hell is going on? It's like Zelda Williams or whatever her name was. Yeah.
Yeah.
So I got Alex Raymond, the complete Flash Gordon reprints. I got those. Wally Wood, is he the guy that has those panels? Was he the one who created? Who's the guy that created those panels where like every comic must have? There's like 20 panels or something where like every. Oh, I forgot what it was. Oh, it's great if you don't know. Maybe Could Not Be Reached would know. I thought that was Wally Wood. I could be wrong. There's an artist who has like the 24 panels that you have to use. Or Sean, are you looking it up?
Yeah. 22 panels that always work.
Yes, that's it. What's the artist for that?
It's Wally Wood.
It's Wally Wood. I thought so. Yeah. So Wally Wood is a genius. And no. Now, Sean, when you look at those panels, you're like, holy shit, they do all. It's crazy, right? Like that's like a super. Yeah. You're like, oh my god, those are the panels. Like every comic needs those panels because it's just storytelling. Like the shot, like this shot, and like the side shot.
Yeah, it's mise en scene. It's shot reverse shot basically. Yeah.
Right. So it's like, Wally Wood is super important. Like you need to, every artist needs to print that out and just have that like on their thing so they understand how that works.
There's a thing, yeah. Like he made you can print that.
Yeah, he literally wrote what it is in the thing. No, Wally Wood is awesome. Like,
so ScarJo is suing Disney?
Well, because look, all of these people take home part of the box office, right? Like that's really the point of it. Like, I remember Tom Cruise way back in the day figured that formula out. He's like, I don't give a shit about my paycheck. What is that going to do for me? It's like, I get paid.
Yeah.
Right.
It's the percentage. Yeah.
The percentage, like, I get paid 10 million for this movie or 20 million or 40 million. Or like paying Tom Cruise 40 million is the same as paying him 10 million. Like, he doesn't care.
So
he needs the money from that movie.
Yeah.
Right? Because that movie's going to make $1 billion or whatever. And he wants that.
My understanding is, yes, she gets a percentage. The problem is the way they released it was the simultaneous Disney Plus $30 thing and the theater. And if they had just released it in theaters, they probably would have made more money than the 60 million they made on Disney Plus.
Right.
That 60 million on Disney Plus could have been translated to each person that wanted to see that would have bought tickets, and they would have made another couple 100 million or more on top of what they were making in the theater. So I think that's what she's suing on.
Right.
Now, when they did Wonder Woman 1984, the controversy there was they did the day and date thing, and they said now the director Patty Jenkins and Gal Gadot they told them listen, in your contract it says that you would get 10% of the box office. So let's say, for the sake of argument, that this movie would have made $1 billion. Then they paid them that much. So they did that up front. The problem was that they only did that deal for them, and everyone else got mad. So that's where you got like the Dune guy got mad, and like Buddy from freaking Tenet got mad. That was the problem there, that they favored those two, but no one else got that deal. Here, for whatever reason, they didn't go to Scarlett. They have contracts. They didn't go to ScarJo and say, like, let's revisit your contract. These are COVID times. It's different. This is what we're going to do with this movie. Let's figure this out. they just ignored the whole thing and didn't come to her. So she's like, I would have made more if they didn't go with the now my thing is they could do what they want, and they honored the contract because the contract is you get a percentage and you got. Now my understanding is that she got the percentage. If she didn't, then yes, sue. But I thought what it was she didn't get the percentage she could have got. She didn't get the money she could have got from the percentage in her contract,
right?
Because of the way they released it. But my understanding, and maybe I'm completely wrong, is she did fucking get a percentage. It's just not what she thought she would have got if they were to release it exclusively in theaters.
Let's say,
and maybe I'm wrong, but that's my understanding.
But Sean, you may be right, but let me give you a devil's advocate thing.
It's bullshit. But anyway,
it's bullshit. But let me give you a devil's advocate where she might have a case. I signed a contract,
right,
for 10% of the box office, with the understanding that the release will be theatrical.
Right. Yeah.
And then you release it where you actually devalue the amount of the option. So then I sue you because I'm like, you didn't release it theatrical only. And thus, I didn't make the money you promised.
Right, and that's probably the basis. Because I don't think this is like a bullshit thing. I think like she has to have the best lawyers around. She's rich. Yeah. So they probably said there's something here that like the wording of the contract and the understanding of the contract was compromised. And he never came back to you and renegotiated the contract before making this decision. Right. That's the... Now, this is all... to our earlier point, this is all bullshit because they're all fucking rich. Yeah, it's like they're just fighting over like how much more rich they can get, right?
Right.
But it does affect everything else going forward, right? So that's why people are like, oh, and I think people are just gleefully like, oh yes, like Trouble in Paradise,
that is what that's the thing because. ScarJo used to be pretty normal, and then she became like,
I think too, people forget that lawsuits are not hostility; they're lawsuits. She has a grievance, and she's bringing it to them. It's not like Disney hates her now, and she hates them. I think that's the narrative that a lot of these like fandom menace things are trying to portray, and that's not the case. Like lawsuits are lawsuits; it's just business.
They owe the money,
Yeah.
So this goes back to Texas Chainsaw 1, where the agreement was that, they get a percentage of the profits, and then the distribution company, which was owned by the production company, so it's the same company, but called different. Right, Steve? Yeah. The production company is saying, well, the distribution company is charging us this amount of money to put your film everywhere. So after we paid the distribution company, there are zero profits. It's like, yeah, but you're the distribution company. So J-Man is the production company, or J-Man Enterprises is the production company, and J-Man Distribution is the distribution company. And I'm paying myself to distribute this movie. From the profits I make from that movie, I have to pay myself. And then the people that made the movie don't get any money. And that's literally, and same thing with George Romero. Right, who didn't retain the rights to Night of the Living Dead, which basically was ripped to shit. Every single person on planet Earth who's made a zombie movie has made a version of this thing, and you're just like, what the hell? And then they did the remake to give him the right to that name or whatever, which I don't even know how that actually.
No, because I feel like more versions came out after that, so I don't even know what that did.
Right, I don't know how that works. So
the other day I was on Amazon Prime and I saw a new Day of the Dead movie coming out, and with the same logo as the old Day of the Dead. And like, how many of these fucking movies are there?
There's so many of these.
Yeah, the original Day of the Dead is great. It's like you can't make sequels to that. Yeah.
Oh, I love Day of the Dead. Okay, Disney said there was no merit to the lawsuit, saying it had complied with their contract. Okay, so this is what we were saying earlier, saying that, okay, the movie did get released, basically. She did, like what you're saying, Sean, she did get money, but then Steve...
According to the contract,
Yeah, that was the contract, but then, to Steve's point, maybe there's some merit
if the contract says, if the contract says exclusively theatrical, and there's a window involved, etc., and then they didn't do that, then yes, they breached the contract. But I'm no big city lawyer.
That was like the Cartman owns slaves. Everybody's like, I got some slaves or whatever it is. Like,
this you guys won't get this, but this reminds me a lot of like baseball collective bargaining agreement negotiations where like the players are fighting with the owners, and you see fans on either side getting so passionate, and you're like, this is basically millionaires fighting with billionaires.
Yeah, you're not getting any of this money or whatever. Well, I'm not a sports guy, but that's how it is. When your team wins, you are on the field, right?
Yeah.
Like, I'll make fun. Look, my mom lives in like Little Italy, pretty much. So when the Italians won that Euro Cup, whatever, it was like pandemonium. And I'm like, guys, you weren't on the field. Like, you know, my mom's calling me up. It's like, I'm like, what's going on back there? I'm like, oh, never mind. Italy won. And I'm like, apparently it was terrible. It was really mismatched because there's like 5 million Italian soccer players to you know, it's like they were all on the field. But they all play. They're all there playing. It's like they're all sharing the profits and all that. But when they lose, then it's like, oh, that team lost. What a trash team that is. It's like when they win, then it's like I personally won.
I personally won. It's my
but that's
win.
Okay. That's all for fun. On a street platform significantly enhanced her ability to earn. Right.
Okay.
So I mean, again, like you have to see the wording, right? Because I mean, like, you know, did Shah Rukh Khan continuously get paid for DDLJ being played in theaters for, you know, a decade or whatever? You know, it's like that film played in theaters for like literally a decade, if not more than a decade. Does he get paid? This is a Bollywood movie that's the longest running theater movie of all time. Like, does he get paid all the time for that? What about Star Wars, which went a year in theaters, right? Like, I don't know.
Re-released and re-released.
And they got re-released and re-released. Yeah. How does that work? I don't know. I'm not even sure how it goes with like television shows. Like, I know once you go into like repeats and stuff, and then there's syndication and all this stuff. It's like, how does that work? Like, because like Jerry Seinfeld, like Seinfeld has been on every day since it started. Like, it is on some channel somewhere.
He's still making millions.
He's still making money off of that.
Yeah.
Right?
Well, he was a producer. That's why, like, he wasn't just a talent, right?
Yeah.
Right. So like is Julia Louis-Dreyfus, is she still getting it?
You know, she makes her own money.
Well, she's on
hit show after hit show. So
it's like, hit show after hit show.
This is where you hear like, who were the top 50 money makers, celebrities in 2021, and like the estate of Elvis Presley, and you're like,
what?
But like Eldon, for example, the guy who played Eldon in Cosby Show, there's that big thing about how he was like, Elvin, whatever. There's that big thing
Elvin's the best.
How he was he was working at like a
grocery
Trader Joe's or something like that.
Yeah,
and people are all mad. And it's like, oh, wouldn't he be like a millionaire? It's like, no, he's just an actor on the Cosby Show. He doesn't get like millions of dollars from that.
You know, they actually did breakdowns. There's actually on Wikipedia a breakdown of a film budget. And you can really see, like, Spider-Man 2, I think Toby made 20.
Yeah.
And I think Kirsten Dunst made about 6. And Melina made 3.
Wow.
And the rest of the cast made 1.7 million. The rest of the cast.
Yeah.
Right.
Well, even that skinny chick who gives him cake?
Yeah.
Like,
so literally, the top 3 billed actors get good money, usually, like at most.
Yeah.
And everyone else makes a fraction of what the number 3 actor makes.
Yeah.
Right.
These guys don't make money unless you're one of the top dogs, man.
There's a guy who's got some good, cool videos for old TV shows. So he's got the breakdown of Batman, Adam West Batman. Check that out. The guest stars were paid super good.
Yeah.
And like Burt Ward was paid crap compared to everything he was doing and compared to everybody else. Like Adam West got paid the most.
Mm-hmm.
I think it was like 3,000 or 4,000 an episode or something. The guest stars made like 2 or something thousand, and like Burt Ward's making like $800 or something. Like, it was like crazy.
You remember Michael Ironside did those Maximum Ice with Bat commercials back in the 90s? He was Michael Ironside did the Bat Maximum Ice commercials.
Oh, maybe.
His brother told me that he made $50K every time that aired.
Wow. That's more money than he was getting paid for the movies he was in.
Yeah.
Literally, Michael Ironside was literally taking side jobs while working on like Scanners, main villain. He's like, oh, I was taking a side job. Like I was like working at like security guard or something. It's like, okay. He's like, Bruce Campbell. Yeah. Oh no. Bruce Campbell. All of these guys, they had side jobs while they're acting. So I'm sure they would take any percentage of Black Widow that was given to them, I guess. But
well, it's all about ego, right? It's all about I want to be the highest paid ex woman in Hollywood. Like Angelina Jolie was a Hollywood highest paid actress for years in Hollywood.
They said that on Jodorowsky's Dune. Remember, they were trying to get Salvador Dali or whatever to be. It was him, right? Was it him?
Salvador Dali. You're right.
They're trying to get him on in the movie. He goes, "I want to be the highest paid," and they're like, "We'll give you, like, I forgot what it was, like something per second that you're on screen or whatever, right?" And they're like, "Okay, he's going to be on screen for only 1 minute and just have like a couple lines of dialogue or whatever." And they're like, and he's like, "Oh, I'm getting paid $100,000 a minute," and then it's like he'll only be on for 5 minutes. So, so it's something like that, right? And it's just like he goes, "I am the most highest paid actor," and it's like that's great if you haven't seen for people out there, if you haven't seen Jodorowsky's Dune, it's a documentary about the Dune movie that could have been that we never got. You should definitely watch it. I've seen it so many times. And Alejandro Jodorowsky is a complete madman. Yeah. And I think he's brilliant.
Yeah.
He's a genius.
He should have been given the keys to the kingdom. He should have been allowed to make whatever he wanted.
He's insane. He's completely insane, which is great. Clayton Moore. Yes, Clayton Moore's awesome.
Man. $25.
Wow, $25 an episode, man. Poor guy.
Well, it's like the 50s, right?
Yeah, I know.
That's like $2,500 maybe.
Would it be? Yeah.
Probably.
Like today's money?
Yeah.
That's pretty good.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, well, I guess it depends on what show you're on, I suppose. But Clayton Moore is awesome. All right, guys. So we're gonna wrap it up. We're gonna be doing. We'll be back on Sunday. Danger Room talking comics and whatever. There's a lot of comics I have to read. My God, I'm like so behind on everything this week. So there's lots to read about that. We'll see what else is going on. But and then next Saturday. Oh no, wait! Tomorrow we're doing Action Elite, right? Are you guys all on that?
I'm not, but you guys are. Yeah.
Oh, okay. So tomorrow night I'm going to be on the Action Elite, talking about the Expendables. So make sure you're on. Make sure you come on there. But yeah. So okay, guys. That'll be it. Then I guess we'll see some of you guys tomorrow. If not tomorrow, then Sunday. All right. Take care.